द लोज है द लोज, कैसे हो द लोज, व्हाट इज अप व्हाट इज अप। भाई पिंकी ने बचा लिया आज 1 बजे जाके, 12 बजे का अलार्म डाला था साला बजा ही नहीं बे। कैसे हो आज टाइम पे, ऑलवेज ऑन टाइम बेबी। कैसे हो, कितना सोया? 4 घंटा। भाई मैं कल सच्ची बोल मैं बहुत जल्दी सोया था, कुछ 12:30 बजे, लेकिन मैं 1:30 को उठ गया यार। उसके बाद सो ही नहीं पाया मैं, एक पूरा एनिमे खत्म किया, शामन किंग। हेलो मेरी जान, आई होप यू रेस्टेड वेल। कद्दू वेल। वाईटी पे नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आता आपके चैनल का? अबे डरते क्या हम डरते, क्योंकि डर के तो फेनेटिक में हुए हैं। सुनने में आया है कि तू आज गिव अवे कर रहा है, क्या सीन? कुछ सीन नहीं, हाइड हो रहा है तू बस। सुनने में आया है टिबन एंड बिंक्स सेम थंबनेल, वही बे, पता नहीं कैसे। क्या हमारा एडिटर सेम है यार? क्या हमारा एडिटर सेम है? कौन धोखा दे रहा है देखना पड़ेगा। इसके इसके पीछे हमको सीआईडी करनी पड़ेगी, सीआईडी इसके पीछे। अब अगर कल 1K सब्स बड़े एग्जैक्ट यार, अच्छी बात नहीं है वो। 50,000 का गिव अवे करना पड़ा उसके लिए। मेरे लिए सब्स नहीं था वो, हरामी लोगों के लिए था, हरामी। हाय बैंक्स, व्हाट्सअप। कल के ट्वीट्स पढ़े? अब पूरा नहीं पढ़ा मैंने, कुछ 460 या 470 कुछ पढ़ा, लेकिन अभी भी 1600 है। तो आज उसका सिलसिला पार्ट 2 कंटिन्यू होगा।
Bleed versus
ये by
Paper You know
2-0.
both of these teams want to see
ये
themselves
2-0,
at
ये 2-0.
playoffs. So it's time to see if Paper
ये
Rex
2-0
bleeds
बे।
today or if the Rex can still be king. Quack, how are you feeling seeing two
कितना
Singaporean
चैट जी बेटा,
teams
बहुत
on
सारे।
that VCT Pacific stage?
Kind of proud. I know that there's like a big Bleed watch party back home at Scape as well, so like hello to all the people there. But yeah, I mean, this is a very good chance for Bleed to show us what they are made of. They have made a lot of improvements. We heard it from the coach, the fixing in communications. You got Zest back in on the map of Ascent, but everyone has been improving all along the way. Darian, Retla, and even Scary as the IGL.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, it's kind of a perfect storm to give us a really interesting match. If Bleed had not
Officially
been
Bleed
building up, and
disqualification.
if Paper X hadn't taken a rough loss, maybe we would come into this one and say, oh, Paper X is going to 2-0, it's not.
सोचो ब्लीड हरा दी जी का जी भाई। अगर ब्लीड आज जीता और जी और टीवन दोनों हारा तो ब्लीड क्वालिफाई है, समझ रहे हो? तो आज सारे कैलकुलेटर लेके बैठेंगे। आज ये विल समथिंग लिख के ले लो, अगर नहीं किया तो आप स्ट्रीम, एक्सक्यूज मी, मैं आपके साथ हूं तो तुम करो ना।
To see that, right? So even though Jing was gone for a few months, you already see the effect. You already see how much Paper X need to rebuild before they're able to get back everything, right? There was still time lost.
Yeah, a little bit shaky. You know, the race performance is still, you know, incredible. Actually, you can compare him to Ye a little bit in some of that respect. But coming back into this, how much he looked at us, we haven't seen that in a long time. But he has improved a lot in that game against Esports. So what's it going to be like today?
What is it going to be like today? We're going to find out as we head into Ascent. So let's toss it on over to our casters, William and Asarai.
Thank you very much. That's right, William, with Asterai here. It's our first time getting to cast together, so welcome. And it's the first time we're going to have two Singaporean teams competing against each other here at VCT Pacific. Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see how this kind of pans out because we haven't seen
account hack हो गया है। अरे मैं राइट में नहीं काम करता, मेल करना पड़ेगा।
Now at this point, and even that tournament wasn't really an off-season tournament, wasn't Champions or Masters. This is where it really starts to kind of show who gets into maybe the route going to Shanghai.
Yeah, I mean this is a
My
big deal,
predictions
especially
are
for a team
Bleed
like
Blue,
Apex,
G
who's
win,
always kind of
T1
had
low,
that
G
spot,
qualifies.
right? They usually always had it locked
लेकिन
in pretty
Bleed के पास
early
दो
on.
चांस है
But now it's
versus
not necessarily
PRX
true
and
anymore.
DRX.
Apex
और
does
वो
have
लोग
to
एक भी
perform well
जीत गए
today,
दोनों
and
में
then
से
Bleed, of course, they have to win kind of throughout the
Like that.
entire weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to also add right now that
T1 ने
you know,
copy
out
किया
of all the
T1 edit
iterations that we've
करता है
seen from Bleed that has gone up against Paper
और
X, the
copy किया
one
तो भी क्या हो
kind
गया
of
बस
standing
भाई है
factor has been Durion. He's been playing with this team for the longest time, and now as we head into Ascent, is he going to be the one
Bro, what
kind
is
of
the
lead charge?
equation for us?
Well, alongside Ye, who's going to be
पहले
playing on the
नेक्स्ट
jet.
मैच देखते हैं
I
क्या
mean,
हम
Bleed's been
2-0
looking very
DFM
confident
को
on this map.
हराएगा
No big surprise there with the likes
वो
of
main
Zest
है
and Ye, their comfort zone. But Paper Rex bringing back a bit of an old comp. I mean, 2023 they
भाई
used to run
Sage
Ascent
ले लिया
now with the
बे
Fade instead of the Silva, but they used to run that Sage for Jing. Now, a lot of people used to wonder, you know, what does Jing play on Ascent? It's always kind of been that Sage if they ever really needed to play it consistently. And I was wondering, you know,
Buddy,
do they bring back
WhatsApp
the
देखा
Raze
buddy?
maybe even here? You know, stick with the Gecko, things like that. No, they're scrapping what they had at Masters. They're going back to the Sage.
आज हल्का सा हमारा थंबनेल सेम है बड़ी
हाँ बे मैं भी नोटिस किया
like it's not like near it's like same बड़ी कैसे पता चला मैं मैंगलोर आया था
मेरा भी पॉजी है ना एडिटर नया एडिटर है
बोलना कौन है पॉजी खुद पूछने को
डाली बाय रे बाप
डाली
Map 1 Ascent coming out Bleeds.
तो
Pick
बोलो
going
करने में
with
अरे फातिमा जी
what
भी नहीं
seems to
कर
be their
सकती
most
वो
confident map so far, and
वो
it's no
डिपार्टमेंट में
surprise,
नहीं
you know,
है
even
आईडी
going off of
अनबैन
Lukia's
और
interview
बैन
just
पे
now. I mean, this is the map that most of
मेल
these
करो
players, most of these players will have played
वही
on for
होएगा
so long. All of them have a very long history here in
कांग्रेचुलेशन फॉर
VCT.
300 के लव
So they
गणेश
kind of stick to the basics. They will be
गणेश
starting
उठा
on
ले
attack.
कैसा मेरी जान
I mean, you're kind of also banking
भाई
on the fact
सेक्सी
that
नाम है
Zest is just an absolute
सेक्सी नाम
god
है
here, right?
Yes.
But
कोइंसिडेंस
obviously
वो
that
भी
has gone
इतना नेक्स्ट लेवल
undetected by
तुमने
Paper
चोरी
Rex.
किया
क्या
So,
भाई आज
moving forward
विन
into
होनी
this,
पड़ेगी
Bleed still got to have
भाई
that kind of
विन
cautious
होने नहीं
mindset,
विन हो
knowing
गए
that
क्यों
there's
कर रहे
a
वॉच पार्टी
reason
गेमिंग करे
why we see the stage now for Paper
यार
Rex.
क्या यार
Triple
सिंगापुर
Sheriff
सर्वर
start
पूरा
on
F हुआ
attack
है
for Bleed. I mean, we
तू
see
किस
some
में
of
खेल
these
रहा है
agents,
मुंबई
you know, go with that Sheriff early
रात को
on.
प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो रहा यार मैं
But,
रात को
I
2
mean,
गेम
yeah,
खेला
Jets, yes, they pick up the Sheriff, but you're on attack. You're going to go in
रात
without
को
the
lag
cloud
नहीं
burst.
हो
You're
रहा
really banking on having a good setup. As Bleed's just going to make sure that they take over
मेरे
mid.
को
Now,
लग
this is
रहा है
something that
पूरी
Bleed's
दुनिया
been
अभी
consistently
जियो पे
been
डाउनलोड कर
doing,
रही है कुछ
is
समझ
really pressuring mid from the pistol
अरे
round
मैं
early
पूछा
on in
कल
each round.
कुछ
Yeah,
तो
100%.
सर्वर का
Now,
सीन
rest of Bleed
किससे बचा
charging
भाई
up onto mid. Pizza contact for the moment. No one's home for now. But look at this. Doors been
प्रेडिक्शन बता
closed on market.
प्रेडिक्शन बता
And Jing still
Prediction
has a wall,
2-0
so if they try to explore
PRX?
onto that A site, you know
अगली
the
वाली
wall
देखनी
is
है भाई।
somewhere there.
करो,
to
tweet
kinda
करो,
stop
tweet
the-
करो।
दोनों अच्छी
the
टीम है
flow of
इसकी।
Bleed.
Yeah, and
Wait,
with that door
करूं?
closed, with the 0
नहीं,
point
अभी
not getting anybody without any contact on A main,
गिली तुम्हें दे दो
Paper
लव
Rex has a
यू
decent idea. They've
But
got a feeling
PRX
that
को
it's coming
हराना
now with
पड़ेगा।
that smoke coming out. They're
There it
fairly
is.
well aware that wall's going to block. Oh, and what a pitch coming in from Divide right through the smoke as well. That's a double kill onto the site though with the Sheriff. Yay, not able to land it onto Jing.
One more. That's going to be scary. And Retla
Hello?
trying to do the best that they can, leaving Mindfreak alone in this one. So somehow, Bleed manages to pick up the pace, take the B side, plant the spike down, and force Mindfreak into the 1 versus 2. Does have a dark cover to play something, as well as the pickup on that Sheriff. Knows that Retless low. If he can get the first pick, that's going to be good. Sees the shots, has the bullets, and actually
अबे!
कितना
gets
क्लच
the
करेगा भाई
Mindfreak
कितना क्लच
clutches
कैसे?
with 25 to spare.
Yeah, a little bit of a smile
He's a
this time
clutch
as
game
well.
by A1
Just a
minute.
little bit of
भाई
a jolly
उसने-
start for good old
उसने
Mindfreak.
बैठ के मारा
Great
स्कैरी ने
awareness here.
कैसे
Saw
मिस
the
किया
second shots coming out as well. Knew the second member was also
Yeah.
on the same side. Just goes through the repeat, lines up the crossfire. Oh, they line up perfectly for that. Great timing from Divide.
इनका क्या सीन है
And
बग भाई
Jing even hitting the
क्वालिफाई रे
numbers
मेरे
that
पे भरोसा
भाई
रखो
उसने
helps a lot
peek
if
भी
this
क्यों
would be
किया
too
भाई?
clutch. It's a close one, but the
One
Sheriff
way था,
डबल
eventually
पिक किया था
आराम से
डबल
hurt
पिक किया था
Bleed in the end.
Yeah, I like
एक्चुअली
that too.
ट्रेड का
Just
सीन
hyper
था
focusing on the
लेकिन
wall itself.
गलत हो
If you put that wall specifically there and everyone, you know, comes
एटलीस्ट वो लोग
through
वैलो
on
बोल
the
के कुछ
stairs,
और तो नहीं खेल रहे
people that will be coming from Pizza will actually have that first contact, I believe, on the stairs pushers. So
हेलो
really good. How do you call this? Circumventing of Paper X
Yes.
of the push of Bleed.
Standing ahead.
Oh, and the early wall this time, of course, now with the anti-eco coming out from Paper X, they know that it has to be pistols. Sure, there was a
सेकंड मैच
plan,
मुंह बंद
so
रखे
a force buy wouldn't be completely crazy. A really
शर्म
flash
करो,
by
शर्म।
Divide as well, just to relocate, just to buy
पूरा
time
green
while he
खेल
wants
रहा है
to
बे।
explore a different
जिंग
angle.
जिंग
ये एंगल
There's
कौन
something, you
देखेगा
know,
मैं
very
बताओ
far in mid.
भाई क्लीन किल है जिंग के लिए देखो
नहीं,
देखो
नहीं
अभी
वो ये देख के
Still
देख
confident
सकते
with
हैं
this
बोला
one.
कि
Jing might
नहीं।
be in trouble though.
बोला कि नहीं तेरे
Does
को
get
मैं।
that
Clean
refrag
कैसे
quite
हुआ ये?
quickly. Wall does stop the
एक
rest.
kill clean है,
Blade
वो
coming
angle
into
नहीं
the B
देखेंगे
side,
कोई
but
भी।
Forsaken's already on the case, gets the first one. Zest tries to challenge, but now Forsaken
ये
is very
गोटर तो
aware.
कैसे मारे
Looking to
बे?
position of the rest of the Bleed players. They're coming in onto A short, using that false kind of contact for Zest, who has the spike on B main. But then, of course, Paper X not biting into it.
Well,
And that's going to be the drop onto the spike on mid.
many
Yeah,
more
now
miles
both of them are
into
spotted as well. And during all of this, you
अच्छा
have
मैच
Mindfreak
avoid
already
करनी है
Breeze
cleared
है।
the main
आज
team.
एक है
If they
breeze,
eventually
दूसरा
got into the site, it was going to be a pretty easy round as something
क्या?
will clean up
दो
with
ही
a
है।
triple
एक
kill.
breeze
Two
avoid करना है
tap,
ना
2
हमें।
kills with the Guardian, and he's building up
Breeze
towards
or
that
Binks?
Blade Storm.
Yeah,
Breeze
this is
or
what we've
bite?
seen from
रुक
Paper
जा,
X
पहले
for a
monetization
while now,
off
right?
करने
They're
दो।
not just angrily pushing in to get that contact. We've seen this a couple of times now, even in their match against Team Secret, where they like to just control the zones, specifically around the map a lot more. And of course, you know,
Look at that.
I love
see it.
that energy.
You love to see it. Very, very hyped up. We're only into the second round. It makes it look like they've just won, you know,
Yeah.
a crazy clutch
Champions
and-
already.
Yeah, champions or something like that. But now here we
DFM
go.
Icebox
Bleed, you've got
and
the
ban
rifles.
करेगी
You can start
100%।
to really pressure with your defaults. And they
या
are going
फिर
to wait.
वो लोग में
obviously,
रीड
with the
क्या
bonus
रहेगा कि
coming in
क्या
from Paper
करता है
Rex,
जी
see if there's a
और
push out.
आइसबॉक्स
But
पिक करे
because of the early
कि
investment
उनको
in
भी
round
टाइम
2,
मिला है
Paper Rex, I mean, it's 4
तीन चार
rifles. It's
दिन
not
का।
exactly quite a bonus. It's more or less a buy round
एक
here.
हफ्ते का शायद
I also
पता
have to
नहीं।
ask, because I'm not entirely sure about what's happening.
इधर
But of
बैठा
course,
देखना।
first and foremost, contact. Scary's good. The double swing.
Oh.
Mindfreak's going to get overwhelmed. That is 2 down on A main. A possible sign here for Bleed to start moving their forces onto this right
क्या
side of
लगता
the
है
map.
दवाई निकालेगा?
But that moment, that goes back to all the teams that have beaten Paper X in the past, right? We heard it from Jesse Vash. We heard it from Coach Solo on Gen G. You always have to be ready for trade. Rarely will Paper X ever be
बंदा है
peeking out
सबसे
alone,
best
right? If they're pushing,
GA
there's going to be someone for the trade. So Bleed ready for a second member. That's going to be a
थोड़ा
really
sound
big
कम
see if
कर
they
दो,
can make this a
please।
flawless
कौन
as
सा
he
वाला?
dashes in. He's not able to land the entry kill. Divide sneaks right back into the smoke. No one's been able to get in because of the... Oh, and he goes out for
निकाला
another kill
दवाई
as
ने।
well. Now down to 3 members. The fragment and then the double from Divide, doing wonders for Paper X here on the bonus.
That is
Buddy.
beautiful. I mean, there's a
30
little bit of
seconds
damage onto the remaining players, sure. Might give a chance here for Jing if he somehow manages to pick up a weapon, which he cannot because everything's just been either dropped A main or inside the site. He still has Sheriff. He's still got the wall. You can see that Paper X is just maybe aware that someone could be lurking around short. Now that they've done with it, it's a 2-man push onto Heaven.
Oh.
There's the contact.
Ayo.
Both of them get the pick. And the wall right
Why?
in front of Zest. You don't gotta know to break it. And that's
No.
क्या
done.
कैसे?
Paper X gets another.
क्या करते
Oh
हैं
man,
बे?
my heart breaks
नए
here
नए
for Bleed
चीजें
because
इनके
Redland
इसमें
peeks out.
सीखते हैं।
He
अबे,
catches sight of Forsaken just
तीनों
coming
round
out of
bleed
Heaven,
का था।
but that actually makes
मेरा
Bleed
chat ignore करा
believe
जा रहा है, नहीं
that
तो?
the retake hasn't really
Oh,
started yet.
defense
Jing's
इसलिए
already
choose
all the
किया,
way
इसलिए
past.
sage
He's
लिया।
ready to
वो
go
भाई
for the
कैसे
drop,
हो?
and they have
सब
no
बढ़िया।
idea. I mean, that peak actually cost Bleed a little bit, and you can't blame Redla. It's just a timing here that's favored. But Divide, great fragment, breaks
Divide
apart the
okay.
entry there. Yay stranded on an island. That leads all the way to the 2v3 retake.
क्या
The wall as
कैसे
well.
वो लोग खुद हंस रहे
That
बे?
Sage, I mean, it's
भाई
been a little
तीनों
while since
round
any of these
bleed का
players
था,
have sure
तीनों।
played against the Sage on Ascent.
टेक्निकली
They
चारों
have to start
दूसरे
to
सब
count
पे
and let
DM
that wall
है।
come up.
तक्का
100%.
तोरा
Recon
सजेशन
Dart gonna be
डेट
broken
तो
for something. The
कुछ
jump up
एक
is
और
very aware.
देख
But
और दिया
same could
है।
be said for Bleed as they were just jump spotting that little bit of contact. Everything else kind of just feels a little bit straightforward here for Bleed as they do put a smoke on mid. Maybe just work their magic there, but Forsaken's just ready for it with a recon dart.
So, because they have no Killjoy, Paper X, they're always trying to find a way to leave mid open, right? Whether you're hanging far back with the Silva,
Just
whether it's
that's
pushing
China,
out of
thank
other
you for
parts
the
of the
membership,
map.
Mary
And that's something that
Jan.
Bleed, I'm sure, is aware of. They would love to pressure mid a lot more, but
Yes,
with an
he
op like that, it's not going to be easy. They have to start to push and pull in other parts of the map like they are right now. Wait for Paper X to falter just a bit.
Ooh, this is the perfect time if they actually want to push
उनको
for mid now.
पता है, हाँ,
Because
off है।
Tailwind's already been expended by
इसलिए,
something. So if they want to actually
क्या
go
बैठा
that
था ना?
aggressive, something also has to put himself on the line for this
भाई
one. But
one
Forsaken
tap का है
is
ये।
taking really nasty kills on those dry peak contacts.
So the plan here from Bleed was to leave Ye as long as
अच्छा
possible
है।
in that courtyard. Oh, but it's going to be
बहुत
something
ही
still on
हरामी
the side as
offer है
well.
भाई।
So, I mean, no matter what the plan
क्या
was,
बोला
it's breaking
इसको तूने?
apart for now. But the idea was that you leave him there.
हरामी
If you need him to
offer।
lurk all the way to
फातिमा
pizza,
जी।
you do that to go for a fake. But if not, he goes for the
गेम
pitch
सन
too
बढ़ाओ
short.
या कम
I mean,
करो?
it's a good option for Bleed. but he gets picked off because he's already down right by the stairs. He doesn't really have a way out.
Bleed तो सब
Forsaken
कुछ
catches
हार
sight of him,
गए
and
बे।
now Bleed, they already invested in the half armors this time. They decided to
By
buy
the
up again.
technically
and that
3
is going
round
to cost
bleed
him
का था,
only
technically.
maximum 250 credits on Darion, and that's it.
This is exactly what I was asking a while ago.
और
Like
ये
how
इको जाता 4-4-0 होना था
just
bleed के लिए.
adept Forsaken is on
सही है
his
सब.
Sova for the
पहले
moment.
वाले
But it
सही
seems
था
like
ना?
right now the needs of Paper X
ये
for him
बराबर
to hold that mid as the Sova has
थोड़ा
been pretty
कम
good
कर
so
दिया.
far.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen it, but he's usually favored the fade, right?
Bleed
And usually it
हार
has been
रहे,
the fade meta for him
हार
as well,
अच्छे
especially last
margin
year.
से,
So
then
the
chances
fade,
margin
I
margin
tried
कुछ
to
नहीं
test
बे,
it even
matches में नहीं.
internationally.
ये दोनों
The
हारे,
Sova, that was
2-1
my
से भी
big
हारेगा
question,
तो भी चलेगा.
but so far doing very well. And again, without things
TRX
like the alarm
DFM
box to
हारना
rely
bleed
on,
को,
I mean, you have
T1 को
just
हारना
Sova and
Zeta
KO
से
to really
और
go
G
for
को
these
जीतने का
timing on those
DFM से.
info calls. And they're able to get everything they need.
ट्वीट
and
हो जाए एक मेरे
I
को
mean,
लग रहा है.
with leaving mid
मेरा
open,
last
right?
tweet
Whether it's
देखा,
just
सारे
closing the
prediction
door, whether
गलत
it's
थे
pushing
पे
out
ही.
from
चलो
another
T1 को
side.
जीतना
T-Rex is
पड़ेगा या
maneuvering
हारना
this map
पड़ेगा?
very well. This time it's another one-way here,
T1 को
but they're
हारना
not
पड़ेगा.
peeking out of it. They know that at the end of the
किसके
day,
against?
Bleed's the one who has
Zeta.
to use their util first to fish for info.
You might be expecting just a full-on burst here from Bleed, but
have
this
no
is
idea.
a trap that Paper X have completely
कुछ
set
नहीं
up
कर
onto
सकते
the
बे,
A side,
देखना.
and Bleed are being punished for it. There's only 2 remaining. That's going to be scary and
Flash
Retla.
भी करेगा, देख लियो.
Left and
देख
right.
लियो, अभी ये flash
Divide.
भी है, तो
I
बोल.
know you want to go for it, but he will get picked off
बोलते
as
पड़े.
Retla just
Binks.
haphazardly spams through to smoke, and at least gives them a bit of a chance here. And wait, who uses the from the
Scary.
shadow?
बढ़िया
Scary on short, finds big contact onto Forsaken. You're 1 versus 1.
Wadive.
Full tag. Scary out in no man's
Bad.
land.
Oh, he gets
Stack
tagged.
first. Something waiting, choosing to use
Yeah.
the shorty, but Scary converts.
भाई
that's
Forsaken
movement था
finally
ना,
gets the
shorty से
punish, and
मारने के लिए था.
Retla with the spike in hand, 2 right in front of him. Maybe he can at least dissect some of the players on that A side. Not gonna happen.
भाई,
And Paper
हाँ,
Rex
movement तो था.
still keep the ball rolling.
I mean, considering how far Bleed's been pushed, right? You're already 4
नहीं कर
rounds
रहा,
down
आज
going
नहीं
into
कर
that
रहा,
previous
आज नहीं
round.
कर
I don't
रहा.
blame Scary for that ult, right? I mean, yeah, you can go for a cheeky spike pickup in another
क्या
round,
team में बे
but you use it
PRX?
to try to create a curveball. That's all fine, but he gets tagged right before his smoke goes up, and he's not able to continue to pressure Paper X as much as he wants. And just sees, different positions from Paper X each and every round here on A site. Bleed this
भाई,
time, they actually
Sage तो
made the right
BT
call,
इसमें
right? They're
भी.
not expending too much utility. They understand that Paper X are going to be split because they have to, because there's no other way to control mid for them. And they just go for the stack.
Yo, I love
A
this.
Sage Tiles crunch, but it's Retla
Yeah,
ready
he
for it.
like
I mean,
does a
that's the
wall
problem. You do hear the wall coming up. He's ready for the double.
Yeah, we've seen that on a bunch of YouTube highlight clips for Sage mains.
Oh, for sure.
Doesn't work like this for Paper X. I was so excited for it too.
अच्छा हॉल था ना लेकिन.
What? Bleed have seen it.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did seem
but,
like
जाके
there
मर
wasn't as much
उधर
util
से
time
mid जाने का wall था.
with the flashes and things like that. Obviously not
नीचे से ही
a
डाल.
heavy investment from Paper X, but Retla this
ऊपर
time,
क्यों नहीं
a
गया?
nice trade as well for a triple. Only 5 HP remaining, but it's a 4v2 for Bleed.
दो ना.
No flashes for Devi here, so it's all about that contact. Dodges a
Milega
lot of
with
things
Loki.
actually. Now as he tries to time the peek
still
through
don't know?
the paranoia, we'll get the first one. That is spiked down. They know that Mindfreak is
हाँ पैर फिसल गया
on
उधर.
target, but he kind of, I don't know what's just happened to his
भाई
feet.
देखो,
Jumped down
technically
onto the
सच्ची बोलूं,
stairs.
5-1 bleed
Recoil
के
there, and
तरफ
that's gonna
होना
be the
चाहिए था.
first round
Technically,
picked up
और
by
bleed
Bleed.
अच्छा खेलता
Yeah,
था.
this is a step there from Mindfreak, and that will give that round. But overall,
क्या
I
heavy
mean,
throw किया
you
ना
get the
Bleed
early
में.
kills and you just wait. You go for the re-clear. I like that from Retla as well. Make sure do you want to go
God.
here or not, because it's
Bad
already 2
मार
numbers
तो
down
रही है
from mid.
Bleed, क्या बोलता
No
है?
matter which site you go to, you're going to have an opening. You just want to make sure you don't get caught off guard on the timing.
Yeah.
So a good call. Fairly simple, but very straightforward call from Bleed.
Let's
And
go
now
Bleed.
the Odin ready
ICU
for
में
from
PRX
Forsaken.
जीतेगा.
Bleed, they look like they're positioned to avoid it at the beginning, but he waits.
I mean, they can't push through this
Pretty-
more than anything else. It's the wall
Oh!
from Jing also keeps them tracked
वो
down.
अंदर भी है दे.
They did wait a little bit before they start using that
boy.
lockdown. Will it get
We
broken
could close
by
it
Forsaken now that he
closer.
has his ultimate,
Oh.
or are they just gonna maybe escape as he tries to delay them with a couple of shock darts?
Oh, he just wants to delay the second.
Buddy.
He actually gets one off of the Odin damage earlier. It's going to be an early kill with the Hunter's Fury. Now something in mid. Cuts off Scary as well. No smokes for Bleed.
हर जगह
The
fight
spike
जीत
not
रहे
in sight.
बे.
He's stranded on B.
It's gonna
Huh?
be quite difficult. Yeah, he could actually make something happen right now.
He has to.
Yeah, 3 players though coming in from spawn, the smoke right in front of their faces, and they're hoping that maybe this flash would actually give them a little bit of leeway as they try to push it onto the site. Now that they come in through, Vipers come in, and something with the headshot. Oh my goodness, the Blaze, he's not done just yet. Coming around the corner, has the upper in your hand, and of course,
भाई
you know what?
सेम मेरे
He
जैसे
gets
खेलता है
killed.
बे
One with the blades, one with the op. Actually, 2 with the
Something?
blades and 1 with the op. My math is bad, but something is great.
Caster math, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a risk. It's a risk. That's why we don't do it too often. But something, he'll go for those kills any
क्या
day, and it does
मारता है
look like we'll be looking at a timeout. I mean, much needed. I'm not surprised that it didn't come earlier, because in the early parts, I mean, it's Paper X just having a better hard read, right, on some of these rounds, and you know, the pistol and things like that. Of course, it's Bleed trying to get used to the stage and a couple other parts about this Paper X maneuver. So, necessary timeout early on. You're waiting for your players to catch up to it. Surely you're hearing the comms as they're breaking down what Paper X is doing. But now you start to see a bit of a further breakdown, right? A little bit of that rush.
बंक्स भाई टिबो ने बैंगलोर रिट्रीट के बाद वैलो करना क्यों छोड़ दिया पता नहीं
क्या बोला
सुपर चैट आया था टिबो भाई बैंगलोर रिट्रीट के बाद वैलो खेलना क्यों छोड़ दिया करके
घर जाएंगे आरसीबी जीता लास्ट टाइम
what the follow-up would be
हैदराबाद
for
को
Bleed
बोला
though,
कल
right?
कल
And you actually
क्या अन्ना है हैदराबाद से
just be that
अन्ना
accustomed
दुबई
to
हाँ?
it just yet. And the things that
बैंगलोर ने हैदराबाद को बोला कल अन्ना देख रहे हो ना
We've seen too many of the slow orbs
इतना बड़ा हो गया बैंगलोर अभी
it is kind of confusing Bleed on
हाँ?
the approaches.
Well, a lot of it is also Bleed hasn't really been trying to
गया
push
रे
it full, right? They
एक
got
घर क्या ले
denied
लिया
a
खुद
couple
के लिए
times early on, and they've
भीड़
given up on it. So I was wondering if this timeout would bring their focus back to mid, try to force the op out, try to pressure it, you know, force them to close the door early, break it open, things like that.
Chat, like करो like करो giveaway में बराबर likes हो रहे थे
1-4 default from Bleed. With the Blade Storms gonna be avoiding that 0 point.
Yeah. Problem is, if they try to push on A site with Ye on those blades, look at the Vi, he's got the null command, so that's a very easy counter for someone that's very fickle.
क्या लगता है ट्राई करेंगे क्या ये लोग सोवाल्टी के साथ अगर ये ने एक मारा तो शायद से सोवाल्टी यूज
their own 0
होगा
point over on AMA. So Paper X, no reason to be pressured too much just yet. You see the early push out from the turret as well, so you know that you're trying to push in to gather some info on B main, but look at that, the siege wall. They know that Bleed doesn't actually have complete information on B just yet. The wall finally getting broken.
Yeah, but this is perfect though. They know that the Vi has actually used his blade on A main, so Ye, he's got free reign to go for this first contact. Question now is Duryoung going to be able to assist him, or just, well, use the smoke and just come in through market, knock knock, who's there? Nobody's on B side for now.
Oh, the Odin trying to catch a target. Tavai's going to find one in mid through the smoke though, so that's a KO down for Bleed. A 4v5, can you clear back house?
Nice.
Yes, you do. Ye gets one, Scary another, right through market. Now evening the numbers, the res comes back up, 4 members still alive, and a nice soft shot
भाई
on the
पीक
back
किया
up from
उसको मार
something.
दिया स्कैरी
That's
को
perfect as well. That was through the bait of Jing
By
reviving
board
somebody
third.
as well. 3 players on the back of the site. Dart
किधर गया वो?
overshoots, but that shouldn't matter too much. As you can see, Forsaken's just
Forsaken
putting out the
by
suppressing fire.
love
Something coming right in, but Redla's so prepared. This man has been dealing damage. Ye as well. Redla, it's the combination, and now it's just Forsaken alone. 3 versus 1, 20 HP. He's got the Yoda, and he might have to just back away, escape with his life, because this is a
एक
bleed round.
मारेगा एक
He's
मारेगा
just going to
मारेगा,
look
ये
for
मारेगा,
a couple
ये
exits,
मारेगा।
it seems. Quite a
बोला।
few creds over on the side
यही
of Paper
मारेगा,
X,
वही
but
मैं
Ye
बोला,
says
यही
no,
मारेगा।
shuts it down. And what's his weapon of choice? We are going to see the op picked up by Zest and 2 rifles. Great upgrades from Bleed. And I love the delayed Hunter's Fury.
भाई,
Right? He
Bleed
doesn't use
अच्छा
it
तो
right
खेल रहा है।
after the no command, but he waits. If
यार वो
they
लोग
get a
वैसा
kill,
वो
now that you've eliminated
गलतियां
one
नहीं करते थे
angle,
ना
you cover that consistently with the Hunter's Fury. The other 2 members can now only
6-2
focus on
Bleed के
lane,
फेवर में
and
होता
they're
भाई
able to clean up the kills. I
It
mean,
is
Retla, he's been
super
picking up 4
good.
frags each week here for Bleed, and he's continuing to lead the pack quite a bit in this map of Ascent.
100%. You make more splash with throwing out
ओ
the pebbles
भाई
than
कहाँ
one big
रखा है
rock.
मॉनिटर
They did not actually save the operator. I was
तो
looking
भाई
at
मम्मी
Zest.
पापा का एनिवर्सरी है
dropped it at
क्या
the end.
गिफ्ट
Yeah,
दूं
I was kind of hoping that maybe Ye
उनको
would,
shopping
you know,
पे लेके
get
जाओ
that,
यार
but he's the point man.
सबसे बेस्ट
Yeah, I
या
mean,
फिर
if
मूवी
you do pick it up, you're always going to have to kind of go for that trade right afterwards,
Yeah.
right before the entry. So now that they've done the
समझ रहे हो?
fake A over to B or over to mid, they'll put the early pressure back
भाई
on mid.
बात
I mean,
सिंपल
this
है
is
उनकी
by far the
एनिवर्सरी
weakest part
का
of the map
गिफ्ट ट्विच
for
है
Paper X. It has to be an over-investment for Paper X. Yay, a little bit outwards,
So
and
two
Defy,
time day.
what a jiggle, leads into the wide swing. And that's not only the jet down, but mid completely
Hi,
given
Binks,
over
hello.
to Paper X's control. And I fear that Bleed, they're going to be scratching their heads thinking, do we just have to go A again? I mean, we're already stuck here.
mean, Smart Money's probably just going to be re-encompass on that A short, you know, kind of
Deep,
press
excuse
yourselves.
me.
They are going to try to do that. They're leaving Scary by himself on A main to be the pinch play here. And then, of course, just one more player on B main so that they don't get, you know, just kind of flanked around. The contact's going to be good.
Yeah,
Divine,
bhai.
he's been the pillar for
Darion.
Paper X. 1 versus
it.
1.
Kya
Divine wins the
maar-
क्या
battle.
मारता है बे
That's
क्या
not going to be
मारता
too good, especially with the spike down on A
लो
short.
मिल गया kill.
Ah!
There's 2 remaining players in
oh,
lane. Scary
ये
has
भी
to
dodge.
keep
Bara.
picking up the spike, maybe.
नहीं.
Nope. Just gonna have to go for that battle on mid. There's too many of them, but he's done. Jing.
कैसे नहीं मरा भाई शॉट
अबे वो
One
ए शॉट से
absolutely not.
पीक भी किया
One
मारने
more.
के लिए
Scary, A main, Mind Freak spotted. 1 versus 1 for the meantime. 2 players of Paper X coming around the corner, maybe flank on top mid. 13 seconds. Whatever happens here, Scary does not have enough time.
Yeah, and they heard the orb as well. They know exactly where he's at. It's a setup for Devi as he goes for that
भाई क्या
4K.
बंदा है ना
on round
तो
9.
भाई
A big win. I mean, Devi
क्या बोलते हो?
starts it and then he finishes it. Gets the pick
कल
off on
4
A
मिनट में
mid.
इतना लाइक्स हो गए थे क्या
That does
बोलने
make
गए
Bleed's game plan crumble
Yara,
entirely.
Mara.
I don't mind them swiveling back towards A
Yeah,
short.
this
It's just
minute
Paper
का
X.
game है क्या?
They understand. Okay, if you were stuck on A
Also
main, the only other part that we haven't really quite taken control of because we put up the wall on B main is going to be A short near tree. So they go for that clear. It's a double, and they win out the trades.
And I love that too from Paper X, because thinking about it, there's only 2 spots in A
बुरा
short
लगता है इधर
that
को
you
bleed
would,
के
or
लिए
just 1
लेके
spot in A short that you would want as an
हाँ
attacker,
ना
and that's
बे.
underneath that like arch that you're
हो
seeing
गया
right
ना,
now in front
slot
of
गया
the
ना?
eye. If you're
हाँ.
anything right behind that,
गया ना slot?
you're kind of
मतलब
just aware
इसके
that
बाद
you could be
DRX
pushed
भी
from
है
arch on mid, so the
और DRX के सामने
the
जीता
rush
तो
for
भी
Bleed
क्वालिफाई हो
was
सकती
definitely
है
there to just
तो
kind of
वापस
push
क्या
in
ascension
before
के लिए
they,
ये लोग?
you know, maybe get flanked by Paper
नहीं
X.
रे कब
Well,
तू
coming
रे
into this round, that's an early pickoff from Darion, ready for that wall
चार-
up.
चार
And
साल
they
का
sent
वो
the
सीन
drone
नहीं है ना
into
इधर।
mid, so they know that this should be weak
नहीं,
on A, but
तीन
it's
मारे
a
बे,
judge,
तीन
and that is as
मारे।
powerful as 3 members. A
Forsaken's out.
quick triple for something.
अरे
And Forsaken
भाई
pushes out on the perfect
इसको भी
timing.
पड़ी
Jumps around the wall as
भाई ये
well.
पूरा रिस्ट्रक्टर करनी पड़ेगी टीम को ही.
What a round from Paper X. I mean, Bleed
ओला का
made the
start
right
अच्छा
call
था।
here. You know, they get a pick off on B main. They
मैं
know that if we
कैलकुलेट कर रहा हूँ कि
continue to
अगर
show
वो
some
लोग
presence,
वो
someone
गलती
has
नहीं
to be
करते थे
around
ना
B. You
स्टार्टिंग
send the
वाले
drone on mid,
तो
someone
क्या
has to
स्कोर
watch
होता था
that
अभी
now that the
6-4
siege is
है
down.
ब्लीड पे
भाई कुछ भी करो.
And they were right.
DRX
It was just
सामने
one
नहीं
guy.
है.
But he had a judge.
And that corner, that positioning.
भाई गोटर तो है बे समथिंग हाँ
Holy.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard
कैसा
something.
हंसता है रे तू?
I don't know. Is that happy? Is that a happy laugh? Is that an evil laugh?
Maniacal.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cackle, in my opinion.
It's a
दोनों टाइम आउट खत्म ना
Joker's laugh.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There you go.
Well, that's the second time out used by Bleed.
भाई जिंक को देख बे
And I have to imagine this is more about
इतना
course
काम बंदा
correcting
कैसे
the things that are starting to go really
Something
poorly,
is
right?
something, लग
I
रहा
don't. What I've noticed from Bleed's timeouts is it's not even necessarily does this timeout give us the best
आपस में
chance
गप्पे मार रहे
to
सर
win
Alex
ultimately,
पहली बार
but it's a
शांत
matter
है
of, well, the course we're going now does not lead to a win, right? That seems to be the pattern so far. And I'm not surprised, right? Legia consistently is mentioning that they have very basic
क्या
things
लगता
they
है
need to
DRX
continue to
को
work
हरा
on,
पाएगा
that
Bleed
they need to really build a better foundation. So if this, hey, if this course corrects them, make it an 8-4, you know, it's on ascent, it's not so bad. You go back to defense.
भाई कुछ तो
You have
सीन
your
है भाई
designated
डेरियन
roles and
जैसा बंदा नहीं
positions.
मार पा रहा भाई कुछ तो सीन है
I mean, at a certain point, I think just Bleed just has that level of hesitation after they get, like, one guy gets picked off, right? You see that push on A main that happens on something. Did they throw any utility just to clear out A main just in case that someone was there? Looks like not, right? So, like, you're absolutely right. There's these kind of fundamental things that maybe shaking Bleed to their core just because, you know, there is that pressure. Paper Rex, you know, the first NYSU representative, Bleed, second one.
Yeah, the thing is, so
Yeah.
about that judge, I mean, well, hold on. Well, let's wait for this contact to pass. But I don't know if I can really blame Bleed. I mean, you can say in hindsight, you know, they should have used util and whatnot. But until now, saving util has been what's been gaining them ground.
So
And
fight
Paper X had all the
जीत
creds. They didn't need to buy a judge. They just did it because they thought they had a read, and now they have another read as they continue to push out. Left, right, and middle. Bleed completely trapped in the
भाई
middle of the
साहब,
map.
देखा
क्या
It's going to be a
सीन
सीन मारता है
है
उसके
for
बाद
Paper X.
Yeah, again, that mental
तीन में
strain,
ट्राई
just
करता है
trying
किल
to
का
get out,
नहीं हुआ तो बाकी
out
वो
of the
स्प्रे
open.
मारता है
That
तो
is that mid
अभी
position.
तो इतना सब
9-2
देखा अभी
right
नेक्स्ट
now,
क्या रैंक को लेगा
and there's
टीम
one more round left for
Act
Bleed
कब
here.
खत्म हो रहा है?
How's the
दो दिन
Econ
में।
looking for
एक्ट मतलब वो होता है क्या
challengers? Looks like
लास्ट टाइम
he's
जो गोल्ड खुला
हाँ
he's running into those
अबे,
top fives.
लग गई
Yeah,
बे।
all these contacts, man, it's just not going the way
इस बार
of
भी
Bleed.
गोल्ड है क्या
Paper X
नहीं,
just
इस
have
बार
their number
D2 है
right now.
भाई.
They understand that
D3 तो खोलनी
with the
चाहिए.
type of pressure that Bleed's dealing with, it's become a flowchart to Paper X.
जीवन भाई इतना वॉच
Now
पार्टी
they'll just go
करके
with the
गोल्ड
Odin,
खुलेगा कैसे लगेगा?
spamming that out again. The KO just
gold
there
खुला
for
तो
early
हो गया.
backup in case
हाँ,
it's a
इस
rush.
बार मैं
but
कुछ भी बोल
now
सकता
that
हूँ,
it's
variety
not,
बोल
it's a
सकता
quick peek out from something. He catches sight of multiple, so now they know.
जी
Okay,
का
Binks the
क्वालिफिकेशन
danger
सीन
zone.
एक्सप्लेन करो
But
प्लीज.
Defy will be
एक बार
tasked
नेक्स्ट
with
मैच
holding
होने
on to
दो,
it. He's
उसके
gonna
बाद
wait. He's gonna
एक्सप्लेन
try to buy
करते
time with an early
जी
pop
का.
flash. He goes out with it.
उनका
That's one
समझ
kill.
जाएगा.
Something's
नेक्स्ट
not
मैच
quite arriving
एक
in
बार होने
time
दो.
just yet before
DRX
the
वाला.
smoke goes down.
Ooh, right underneath. Look at Forsaken. He's dropped the Odin for the judge, and he's waiting at
भाई
these
10-2 लग रहे रे बिडू.
cut-off visual angles. And
Oh,
he doesn't
yo.
need it. Something just jumps up, and their heads are popping little by little. It's whack-a-mole with the blades, as something now being pushed.
ओ भाई फिर भी
Is
मारा.
could have actually gotten Durian there, but not going to happen as Durian pops off with the Guardian. Now
को
pushing
knock
in onto
करेगा क्या वो
E-Main.
ult में?
Mindfreak coming in from the back with the flank on lower mid, as three
Oh, the
players
smoke.
of Paper X are separated.
The smoke is so good because now it forces them to have to check all the way around it, and it gives
Judge
Judge
खत्म
so
हो
much more
गई.
time. They have no idea that it's a Judge in the backside. The spike goes down. He's not able to connect to a second just yet. Still 30 seconds on the clock, but now everyone's arrived for Paper X. It's a 2v2.
Oh, the
Slow
slow.
orb. And then the
Oh,
paranoia. They
ठंडा
are
कर
trapped. The
दिया.
spike goes out. Scary. Gets a heroic pick. That's one from Jing, and he's not able to connect to Red Love. Bleed will stabilize.
भाई, सारे
MP.
रैंडम
3-9
कर रहे
score
हैं.
line.
Great push
Defense,
from Bleed on mid, even though they
Something
saw
Vandal
someone
पे.
was there. He kind of has overstayed
Something Vandal
his
पे.
welcome in a bit. He was threatening how much damage he can do with the blades, but it's not going to happen when he gets pushed by
क्या लगता है, क्या
every
लगता है?
remaining player of Bleed, plus the flash from
तो सच में
Durian.
जिंक्स है.
Yeah, I mean, something thinking that he had a bit more time to play with his food there with the Blade Storm, but it's Darion just pushing back, had enough of it, goes with the flash. Now, this is the last time that Legia will have a chance to talk to his team unless Paper X choose to call a timeout, which I imagine won't be coming unless, they suddenly lose the lead or something like that.
Yeah.
क्या टाइम आउट में लाइक करो. 6000 लोग देख रहे हैं. जल्दी से लाइक करो.
this
अरे मेरा
match.
फोटो कौन किया?
One of the things that I also, was kind of researching with this particular series is how far back does Durian and Scary have kind of faced Paper X individually from their previous teams. Durian has done it with the former iteration of the Bleed, like
क्या लगता
for
है
a few
ये
years now,
जिंग अपने
every
फुल
single time,
पोटेंशियल पे
right,
है?
where
लव यू.
tournaments that
मेरे को
lead
लगता है
up to,
थोड़ा
let's
टाइम
say,
लगेगा, मतलब
Masters
1-2
or
महीना
Champions,
शायद.
it's always been Paper
ये
X
बहुत
that
लंबे
eliminated
ब्रेक से आया
them.
ना वो.
And then for Scary, it was when he was in X10.
X10,
Yeah,
back in
yeah.
the day, yep,
Got
before
knocked off.
Xerxia.
लेकिन उसका प्रेजेंस
before
ऑफ
they
माइंड
can
और
get
वो सब
themselves
है.
into another Masters. So there's a lot of history, between these two teams, between the players that have been performing the most for Bleed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these guys have their own history all the way back in APAC.
खेलने का मन कर रहा है रे
got
टीबू.
into Pacific. So it's no surprise that they would want to try to prove themselves here on the big stage. Of course, being that very first inaugural Ascension member of VCT Pacific, now Bleed on defense. And they should be a bit more comfortable, especially with the Killjoy. They've got the Alarm Bot. They should have better control of mid. For now, they're just checking. Is it going to be a mid push-in from Paper X?
कल कहाँ गए थे? किधर ना गए थे? अरे रेस्ट
It's
ले
going
रहा
to be a
था.
triple stack. Quick rotation,
कल
possibly
मेरा
coming in from
सर
Darion
फीट
as
सब
well.
दुख रहा था बेंच.
They've added a good chunk of utility as well. Scary's got no more smokes, only has a Paranoia in hand.
Oh!
And there it is.
क्या
The
मारा.
hive mind mentality of Paper Rex marching all the way through A short. You can hear the Thunder's footsteps on short here. The wall, give it a bit of leeway.
दवाई
The
रिटर्न
Vine
आके
gets to
मार
pick
के गया
first.
बे.
There is that cautionary paranoia from Scary, but rocking a hard place. He's got to have some assistance right now. He is alone. Does have somebody
पीक
red
देखा क्या?
left
दोनों
on heaven,
एक
but
बंदे
that's
ने
not
वो
going to be
देखा,
enough.
उसके बाद
As
साथ में
Paper
पिक
Rex wipe out. They take.
भाई
Second
क्लीन
pistol.
पिस्टल राउंड था
क्या
सोलो.
डब्लू
Assessed
तो बात है.
actually had a
क्लीन
really
से
good
पिक
round.
किया, एक को मारा.
As
Ban
fast
एक
as
मिनट
possible.
के अंदर.
And you saw both on his
तू
screen.
उसका
on the
read
video,
देखा
he's
क्या?
trying to stutter step
केओ
so that
का,
he doesn't
दवाई
make
का.
a sound, but is able to get that
वो
mini
रिटर्न
speed
एशॉट
boost
जाके
every now
रिटर्न
and
आया
then.
वो.
But he just starts to run it. And
ये
he
मारने
thinks
के
that
बाद
enough
दवाई
footsteps
ये
are
देख.
being made by Paper X that he can also mask his own.
Yeah.
But they hear it right away. I believe that was Divide turning right back around, picks off
I
that
like
kill,
that game start.
and that shuts off the pinch from Bleed.
15
Now,
सेकंड.
I mean, yeah, you're down low, but it's just a Marshall. You're on the defense. The 4 spies aren't going to look good.
There it is again. Paranoia from Scary, but I mean, he doesn't have anyone to feed off of it. So even if he can get that quick contact, it's just a classic in his hands. Speaking of classics, Durian also bringing in his own.
I feel like
Unfortunately,
it's
Paper X,
GG.
they attacked together, so there was just
feel
too
like
many
GG,
refraggers just in case Durian
उनका
got
पिक
one.
में ही मारा.
Yeah, then you've got that wall next to the door as well with just some pistols.
बस मैं मुझे
It's not
जी
looking
की
good
जर्सी
for
खरीदनी
Bleed
है
here.
पर एक डाउट है
And with a Marshall, it's not exactly the best
name के
weapon to
साथ
try to
number
go on a
कैसे print
retake,
कर
but if
सकते
they
हैं?
peek out for you,
अपना भाई?
Ye will take the kills.
Why not?
आपके लिए मेरे लिए भी
About to
डाउट
peek
है
onto this
am
one,
I in
out
G?
in the open, but there's a bajillion players of Paper Rex. One more. Zest. Retla
Blind
is
में मारा,
finally
blind
got
नहीं
out
हुआ
to
था,
short,
blind
but
नहीं हुआ
that
था.
door's closed up, and he's going to take a long time for him to break through that, just in case. Anything else is probably just going to be exit frags if they can, but can they? Oh, okay, okay.
आ
This is why he's
नहीं
taking up the
बाबा
set.
नहीं
Even with the
इधर
ghost.
इसके पास ये है
I mean, that's two extra ult orbs that Bleed had no business getting, quite frankly, right? I mean, they
Yes.
were ready to just die to the spike.
Vandal
Paper
गिरी
Rex
लेकिन
did not need to challenge that. I mean, you're so far ahead, you do not need to snowball your ultimates. So in the grand scheme of things, I know Paper Rex likes to play with a little bit of fun on stage, but in the grand scheme of things, very unnecessary deaths here for a
फिल्म
couple
में
members of
ट्वीट हो
Paper
जाए
Rex.
नहीं रे आज ट्वीट नहीं आज ट्वीट
How is Zest
मेरे को
this
देखने
good
क्या
with
है
Ghost?
कि ट्वीट के वजह से हार रहे हैं या
I'm
क्या
just in
सीन
awe
है
of how clean, his aim is.
He's just one of those, calm, collected,
कल मैं बिंक्स
type
ने अटैक
aimers,
करके
right?
एक
Wish I was
ट्वीट
kinda
किया
like
था
that.
देखा आपने
Get pushed by that and you're like,
मैंने बहुत सारे देखे
Yeah,
यार लेकिन
no,
अभी भी कुछ
I'm not in a good
1100
spot.
1200 पेंडिंग है
okay, Odin in Zest's hands this time.
एक फोटो
There
वाला
is that quick
देखा
push. Now they're
एक
here to
मेरा
back
मीटअप
down,
वाला
but look
देखा
at this trap set up by Retla. Does pick up the
बहुत
first
सारे
pick,
stories
or first kill,
देखे
excuse me, as the wall or switch closes down the door. They do know that Zest is alone. I love that Jing is right on top of his wall. Could see where Zest could come out. Zest holding on for as much as he can, for as long as he can, and he only picks up the one. 2 versus 2 right now. Big flags coming in. But Jing comes into the site, saves himself from backstab.
Timing
They're coming around.
big.
Yay.
Yeah, he's fast.
Ooh, B-Main, are they aware? He sees him right in front, is going to be Mind Freak. And Ye has challenged one of his own, because Scary has to go the other way, the pinch to the left and right.
आवाज आया
This
कूदने
Paper
का
Rex is just buying so much time at this point.
So Ye just wants to make sure that he doesn't give up control of that smoke area. They don't want them creeping back in for a pinch. Now the paranoia, that's the signal for Ye to go for the peek. He gets one. Does he find
Nice,
Jin?
dude.
Scary
Nice
will
retake,
find
bro.
it.
अच्छा खेला
It's a
अच्छा खेला अच्छा
good,
खेला
patient 2v2 retake from Bleed, and they will not let map point happen just yet.
Yeah, gotta love
अरे
that
अर्नब भाई
pinch that
मुझे
we
कैसे
saw
पता रहेगा मेरी
from
जान
them. I don't think
तेरा सब
we
प्लस
saw
स्पीड से
the
2000
other
हो
player, Paper
गए
Rex, get hit by the paranoia, but that was enough for both of
2000
them to
में
just
से
go for that
400 कुछ हो
sandwich.
gया मेरा 464
What a trap as well. Set
Yeah,
up
this
here
was
for Bleed.
that was a nice try. I mean, if Retla had connected even onto something, it would have just completely shut down the round for sure.
Yeah.
Eventually
Jing
they
is
had
not
to rely on
jinging
the
today?
retake, but it was a good way to delay, make sure the backup arrives. Now the default continuing the
अच्छा
same
तो
way.
खेल रहा है
Alarm bot
जिंग
in mid.
क्यों नहीं जिंगिंग
Still gonna be 2 members over on B. The Killjoy util to help delay. Still got that Odin
में
in
थोड़ा
hand for
nerf हो गया
Zest
यार
to
वो
save that over.
That's the break of economy
उसके
too for
वजह से
Paper
यार।
Rex here.
ब्रेक क्या वजह से
Okay, there it is. One-way smoke. Something still charges through that. No one on A main for the quick little contact. Scary, hyper aware. And I love how just forward his positioning is. He really wants to get that fight. Knows that he can win that challenge and take
भाई
that.
ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि ये लोग का हाथ
advantage
गर्म हो गया और
easily
नेक्स्ट
for,
मैप जीत
for
गए
Bleed here
ऐसा
to get
कुछ
things started with.
So Bleed,
जी विन
during all of that,
तो
right,
अगर
they hear
T1
the word
lose
Target,
वन
they
मैप
send
जी
a throw
क्वालिफाई ना
at B main as
ये
well.
लोग
So
का भी
they
तो मैच
know that it wasn't
इंपॉर्टेंट
just
है
the 3 members. They
ब्लीड
know that
पीआरएक्स और
pretty
डीआरएक्स
much
से
the
हमें
entire
नहीं जीतना
team
चाहिए
was on A main. So Ye was trying to make sure that he's peeking
सबका
out
मैच
towards top
इंपॉर्टेंट
mid.
है अभी
But
जी
now
के
that the
लिए
smoke resides, now that they don't hear any more info, he doesn't want to
कैंसिल लेके
give
बैठे
up
मतलब
that
हम लोग
rifle. He
समझ
doesn't
रहे
have
हो
backup there for trade.
बेसिकली
So he backs off, and they just say, we just have to reset. Just buy time whichever site they come towards. It's a timing
ढूंढा
from
ढूंढा उसको
Zest,
ढूंढा
and he will nail the shot. Now the last remaining position, it's going to be the alarm button. So look at that KO on the minimap. He's already ready as well. Darion there to watch the flank. He'll find a nice snap. And meanwhile, Ye got one in short. Will not connect onto the last member, but Mind Freak all alone, but a Vandal picked up.
Oh, Huddy, Huddy.
What? Through the
वो
wall.
कितना
Okay.
अच्छा मारा लेकिन किलजॉय
It's a
ने
take on to Retla. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be a
Padi
secondary
Retla
effect for
bhaiya ko.
Mind Freak there, but yeah, in any case, this is what Bleed wants, right? You get that safety from Retla's utility. You have the threatening from Zest with wherever he's at with the Odin, and you can kind of somehow funnel Paper X to where you want
क्या
them to
लगता है यार
fight.
आज 2-0 जीतेंगे अपन
I mean, this is just classic defense
Bleed
default
से तो हार गए
from Bleed, of course,
Yeah.
especially against a weaker buy on the opponents.
क्या हार गए
लोटस
Very good
difficult है
setup.
Icebox
Paper X,
जीतेंगे।
I mean, they do not have the best composition to
Icebox
try to
तो
battle
ban
this,
करेंगे
right?
वो लोग।
I mean, the
Yeah.
lurking is not going to be as
मेरे को भी
efficient
लग
on the
रहा है,
stage. You're usually going to have
है ना?
that omen on for it.
तुमको
Oh, but
आज
this
तक
B-side
तो
is being
सबको
pushed
पता है
pretty
Icebox
fast. He's
हमारा
already
strong
been
है।
spotted the op
नहीं
and Odin
लेकिन
now stuck in
सीन ये है
backside.
कि वो लोग
Back
भी
up here.
काउंटर तो
I
कर
love
लिया
the
रहेगा
spams
यार
coming
अभी
in. They
तक।
have to make sure that they
नहीं।
find a timing to go through
DRX
the smoke.
जैसा
It's actually
team के लिए
something pushing
थोड़ा
out.
shaky
Jerry
लगा।
on there for the trade.
DFM
Those
से ना।
back players on B did not stand a chance at all. Durion gets slowed in. If he just pushed right at that nick of time, could have maybe spotted Forsaken, bringing
But
back
say-
Divide to life. Mindfree coming in for the big flank,
yeah,
and
man.
Durion
GG
is
भाई,
alone.
PRX on
And
top
of course, Dunzo.
अलग खेलता है
That's going to be
PRX।
Paper Rex, 12-5. And Bleed. That was
शिवम भाई अभी
heavy,
तक
heavy
बोले
contact on
नहीं
that
which
B-side.
team
Yeah, I mean, it's a fast hit from Paper
That's
X. And I
11,
think
अच्छा
Paper X,
बोला।
you know, this was a good timing to do it in terms of round score as well. You still have a hefty lead. You just want to change up the pace a little bit, but also
तो है कभी
understanding
aim
that,
sexy है।
oh, if Bleed is going to just play standard default, right? 2-1-2,
कुछ भी
1-1-3,
spray
something
control
like
करता
that.
है बे वो।
If we just charge in, we will have the numbers advantage no matter what. And quite frankly, that's one of the best ways to play against Bleed, because they will most likely, almost every round, stay in the default until they get the opponents all the way up to the entrance. They wait really long before they start to go for those rotations because they're not quite sure. They won't really push out a lot
वैसे
of
अगर
information. Ye's doing his best in mid,
DFM के
but
against
that's
हार
about as far
गए
as they go.
और अगर T1 भी
Still's
जीत
got
गए
the
तो
blade. He
हार गए
really
बे
wants
DFM
to
के
go for that
सामने
pick.
हार गए तो आउट ही
It's a
है।
nice
Hero
try.
plays.
It's a
Oh,
nice
out
try.
ही है
I mean, you
सीधा।
think you'll have a
सीधा।
timing right as the drone spots you. That's unfortunate. Does get some damage down as well, but it'll be healed right back up.
Now, same thing could be happening through B main here. Zest gets that first little contact. Retla spotted out. Oh, he's full blinded. Cannot escape the clutches of Divide. Scary alone. 1 versus
भाई
4.
1v5 हो जाए
1
उस दिन
versus 4
ताले
at
भाई
this
हो
point.
जाए।
सब
The Reds
जगह
comes in
बे
onto
देखना बे
Mindfree.
सब
हो
जगह वो
जाए
लोग
1v5 हो जाए
Can
उस दिन
Scary bring it back? We've seen it done. We've seen him do this before. 40 seconds. It's not the end of the world. There's a couple of chances for him.
नहीं कर सकते।
सेम
He's
चीज
got to
होने
do it
वाला है क्या
now.
1v5
Late storm popped as well.
Impossible.
Something now looking
नंगा
to go
नाचूंगा
on the
नंगा
hunt
पॉसिबली नहीं
alongside
क्लच
his
हुआ तो
teammates.
नंगा नाचूंगा मैं।
Searching for it too.
Yeah, they're
Mara.
trying to just figure out where's the last remaining member. Scary will find one against Divide.
क्या
है
करना
ना
Still 4 more though. Door closed. Knows it's a double. Scary lands one. Ah, but the pinch around comes from Mind Freak, and that is going to be it. 13-5.
क्या
Bit of a landslide victory here for Paper X.
सारे अभी
against Bleed
important
on their
matches
map
हैं,
pick
सारे।
Ascent.
चैट सारे कैलसी लेके बैठे रहना ठीक
Dominating
है।
performance right now from Paper Rex. And we were kind of curious how the composition was going to, kind of play out, especially with that
भाई
Jing
ब्लीड का
pick
लेकिन कुछ तो
on the
सीन है बे
stage.
जो
But
स्पीड
some of
से
this
आता है
manages
ना
to work, you got a lot of bodies to work with.
इनके लिए इधर सिर्फ
Ultimate,
वो
the
कर
res, the heals, all good.
बाकी सब तो
Yeah,
आदत
I
हो
mean,
गई।
overall, didn't have to show too much of their hand either, but we'll let the analyst break down a bit further how this
Lead
map one
भी
went before we
DFM से
dive
जीता है
into
सिर्फ।
map 2.
I think our casters are absolutely right. It doesn't look like PRX broke a sweat indeed. I mean, maybe there were some rounds that were a little bit dangerous, but I would say like Paper X, they looked very, very comfortable, and
Okay,
even I
one.
would say a little bit playful.
Yeah, there was that round with the judge.
तिबोन जो टीम सिर्फ इससे जीता है क्या बोलते हैं डीएफएम से वो टीम के सामने अपना मैच है समझ रहे हो मतलब डीएफएम के सामने अपना मैच है समझ रहे हो
हाँ
राम राम बंक्स भाई क्या हाल है ऋषि सर प्लीज आज शपथ चाहिए कि ओपिंग नहीं आएगी प्लीज 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 मैं कुछ भी करने को तैयार हूँ ऑन स्ट्रीम मतलब वैसा कुछ भी नहीं आज लग रहा है लेकिन 2-0 आज तक कभी इनवाइट नहीं किया आपने अपने वॉच पार्टी में आए घर में हो वॉच पार्टी तो वो है जो आप करा रहे हो बैंगलोर में वैसे ये बैंगलोर बंदर घर में क्यों बैठे ये क्यों नहीं गया और इसने जर्सी पहन के हेड भी दिया है सब कुछ लिख के रखना ठीक है फॉलो ऑफ लेगा तो आई एम गोइंग टू टर्न ऑफ द स्ट्रीम मत करो यार लाइक करके जाना बस वो व्यू पार्टी अच्छा अच्छा तिबन भाई ऋषि सर आए हैं चैट में पूछ रहे कल आपने जर्सी पहन के हेट क्यों दिया था करके जी वाले मैच में
कब दिया था ऋषि सर मैं ऐसा आदमी हूँ जो हेट दे सकता हूँ पता है?
हाँ हाँ हाँ
हाँ बोले क्या
हाँ बोला अभी नेक्स्ट
आई एम सॉरी ऋषि सर
आज किसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है
बाय जी फैक्ट
मतलब VLT को नहीं करता ये। अन्ना देख रहे हो ना?
टीम ही नहीं है हमारा, क्या करें?
है तो सही टीम।
कहा
ट्यूसडे को
CCT?
सीसी टीम। आज 2-0 हो जाए, 2-1 होएगा तो भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। बस T1 को हारना है नेक्स्ट मैच और ब्लीड को हारना है नेक्स्ट मैच। अगर मेरा कैलकुलेशंस बराबर है तो मैंने सारा कुछ कैलकुलेशंस करके रखा है, लेकिन ऐसी जगह लिखा है ना जहां पे मैं दिखा नहीं सकता कैम में। मैंने हेवी लिखा है, नो वी नीड 2-0। कैसे पक्का? नहीं, 2-1 भी चलेगा। नॉट लिविंग मोर टू चांस। सच्ची बोलूं, मैं यहाँ पे वो दिखा नहीं पा रहा VLR, लेकिन भरोसा करो 2-1 होएगा तो भी चलेगा। बस T1 को हारना है, T1 को हारना है। वो भले 2-0 आ रहे हैं या 2-1 आ रहे हैं, वो लोग को जेट से हारना है, जेटा से। और ब्लीड को DRX PRX हारना है, ये करना है। उसके बाद हम क्वालिफाई। वो छोड़ो, मैंने आज पहली बार आपके लिए ट्वीट नहीं की है, पहली बार। मेरे को प्रेडिक्शंस करने दे नहीं रहे, तो अगर आज G20 जीता तो क्या पार्टी है वो चाहिए अपने को। हेवी पार्टी सीन्स, क्या बोलते हो, दुबई में एकदम बुर्ज खलीफा के ऊपर एकदम कुछ डीजे नाइट्स विद एडिट। अरे अरे नो कर्स, सारे कर्स बुला रहे यार। मत बोलो, मैं कुछ नहीं, मैं अगर बोला ना, अगर अगर मैं कुछ नहीं बोल रहा जी जीतेगा कि नहीं जीतेगा, मैं बोला अगर जीतेगा तो वी गो टू प्लेऑफ्स, आई विल गिव यू एपिक पार्टी, डील डन सी, लेट्स शेक हैंड्स, डन सी, डन सी। 50 के गिव अवे, वाह वाह, तुमको उधर ही चाहिए गिव अवे, गिव अवे। डन, डील सील्ड, डन सी, डन सी। चलो चलो, मतलब मेरे को आज DFM को सपोर्ट करनी है, ठीक है। टिबन भाई DFM 2-0, आज तेरा भाई सारे पावर्स का यूज करेगा एक पार्टी के लिए।
हेलो,
या फील आ रहा है,
कैसे?
पता नहीं, अंदर से आ रहा है, देखेगा तेरा भाई। तेरा भाई आज सारे पावर्स का यूज करने वाला है। DFM 2-0, मैं एक पार्टी के लिए बिक गया अभी, आई एम सुपर बिकाओ, समझ रहे हो। If G wins, Binks will give a 3 piece। भाई G wins पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, DFM 2-0 है, ठीक है, सिंपल बात है। ट्वीट हो जाता तो भाई, जो लोग स्ट्रीम नहीं देख रहे ना, वो लोग अगर देखेंगे ना DFM 2-0 लिखा है मेरे को, वहां पे आएगा आधे लोग देशद्रोही ये वो। कौन लेगा बे पंगा? जो अपने टीम को सपोर्ट नहीं कर सकता वो अपने बाप का नहीं, ये सब डायलॉग्स मारेंगे जो लोग स्ट्रीम नहीं देखते।
Against them many times before, because you would expect him to have an Odin, and then suddenly he has a judge on the ground that he bought previously. PaperX is capable of such flexible things, and that's why it's very tough to play against them. Bleed, you know, they're gonna have to adapt on the fly right here. And you have seen some rounds from like Scary, for example, where he's able to put out some smokes that they're really interesting and plays around them.
जर्सी का नंबर था, अब भी चैट में थे, अब भी
most often the Brimstone,
अब भी चैट में थे।
for, you know, spike plant, support the team, have some lineups. It's gonna be that much more difficult. So yeah,
तुम लोग मेल क्यों नहीं करते रे?
Well, you know what? It's an even tougher game.
By
We do
DFM
have
2-0
our
लग रहा है
guess
मेरे
and gain
अब अगर ये
segment, which
कर्ज
is
वर्क
absolutely
नहीं किया
the toughest
तो
game
फिर भी गाली
of
खाएगा।
all. Except for
कर्ज
Valdez,
नहीं है,
who's
सच
smiling
है,
here.
फैक्ट।
He's so confident because
I
like,
am
where is
currently
he?
in
Where are you over here?
alongside of
अगर
some
G
wonderful
win तो
people
अगर
here at the
T1
top.
lose,
We have
one
Victoria
match
as
G
well,
qualify
and
ना
Azra
हाँ।
is sitting pretty.
One
Our
match, G
question
qualify।
for this is, will Zest finish the first half with the most kills within the team? If you are paying attention to the earlier map, this
क्वालिफाई
could
कैसे?
be
एक बार
an
नेक्स्ट मैच
easy
खत्म होने दो,
question.
उसके
What do
बाद
you think, gentlemen?
I mean, it's not Ascent anymore. He already struggled on Ascent. I feel like For me, this is pretty easy. I feel like the viewer votes, there are way too many yeses. Is my opinion.
Do you want to balance it out? I mean, our viewers' votes say.
I'm gonna go ahead and put mine up already.
Close. It's quite close.
Sen ka guess in
No,
Sen
you
qualify.
ruined the game, Valdez.
Sorry.
You ruined
Why?
the game. But you know what? I will also this was also my vote, just because it just
Qualify.
doesn't seem like it's.
मेरे हिसाब से अगर जर्सी के
comfortable
पीछे
day
नंबर डालने का
for
ऑप्शन नहीं
Zest,
रहेगा तो फिर
right?
तुम नहीं
It
डाल
could be
सकते
Redler, or
हो
even
शायद।
Scary that could be putting up those numbers going into this one.
I want to have a bit of hope. Actually, screw it. I'm
You
gonna.
want to change?
Yeah,
We're
let's
just-
change my answer. Yeah,
these,
why not?
These analysts are like
Nice.
following my
Flip-flop.
rules over here. But okay,
You know why?
all right.
'Cause he plays the gecko here, and that's always a little bit interesting. He's not
अपार
very,
धन का
well versed on this agent. It's a little bit new.
भाई
We
कोई
don't
अभी
see it
तक
too often, but
अनबीटेबल
on
गया है
Analyst, he's gonna
पूरे
pull it out.
पैसिफिक में नहीं ना
But I want to have some faith. This is a faith pick. I feel like he's going to be able to play off the dizzy or, set up the wingman, play
भाई
off the
पैसिफिक
little
में
bit.
एक भी
Teammates
ऐसी
can
टीम नहीं है
support
जो
him.
सारे मैचेस
Maybe
हारी है
get some trades
ठीक
4
है
or something like that, and it's always possible.
अभी देखते
I like that hope. Yeah,
some hope.
I like that
NM
hope. I feel like
NM
people should
EMA
have
में
that
देखते
kind
हैं।
of hope a little bit more. But
EMA
yeah, I
में
do
दो
think that,
teams
like,
है जो
it's not
सारे
that he
matches
will
हारे
be,
अभी तक।
underperforming. I just don't think he's going to get the
Giantex
most
और
in
Koi।
this map. And we are about to head into Bind. It's going to be
और,
exciting. You mentioned that, okay, there's potential for
एनए का क्या
Binks
सीन
to
है
maybe mix
एनए में भी
things up
दो
a
ऐसी
little bit
टीमें
as
जो
we
अभी
head
तक
into this.
तीन
So
ऐसी टीमें जो
it's gonna be
सारे
exciting
मैचेस
to
हारे
see
अभी तक
what they're going to bring out, and it's
तो
going to
मतलब
be exciting
Pacific
to
strong
see
है
what Bleed
क्या
has
बोलते हो
in store as well. So let's
यार,
get into it.
अरे
We're about to
जो
step into Bind. What could
सारे
be
हारे
our
हैं, हारे।
final map right now. And Valdez, how are you feeling about this, especially since there's a lot of pressure on Bleed?
भाई गिव अवे वीपी कब क्रेडिट होगा भाई जितने भी गिव अवे विनर्स है पॉजी ने आपको ऐड किया रहेगा मेरा कम्युनिटी पोस्ट देख लो उसके आईडी को ऐड करो वैलो में ठीक है या फिर उसको इंस्टा पे मैसेज करो और अगर तुम ट्विटर विनर्स हो तो भी तुमको पॉजी को ऐड करना होगा तो एक बार मेरा कम्युनिटी पोस्ट देख लेना सारे गिव अवे विनर्स कम्युनिटी पोस्ट किया भी है मैंने ठीक है आज करता पॉजी बढ़वा
fact that this was Paper X's map pick, I think it's a little bit interesting that Bleed decided to elect it to start with the attack, so if they can actually come in and dictate the flow of the game, they might just be able to change things up, and especially with this specific composition, this is something that they've done way back when. This double controller setup, get the spike down, play for those post point lineups.
Actually वो
It could
कर
work.
Well, let's see if
message
Bleed
कर
can
दे
make a
Insta पे
comeback or
उसका
if Paper X are
screenshot
going to close this out. Over to your casters, William and Asarai.
Thank you very much. That's right. We're here ready for map 2. See if Bleed can try to make this miracle run happen. Starting on the attack side with a bit of a comp change now. Ditching that Cypher, going for no Sentinel, but that does secure the double controller.
Yeah, it's also Zest on the
Binks
sky
करके
than the
देख लो
Gecko.
चल
And
भी
during
रहा है
the
क्या
last time that we saw
नहीं
it
नहीं नहीं
was
नहीं नहीं नहीं
on the breach.
ऐसा
So
टेस्ट नहीं कर
Cypher the
सकते
controllers is also
पावर्स
maybe
को
just
टेस्ट
kind of
करेगा तो भगवान
optimizing
आपको टेस्ट करेगा
which
समझ रहे हो
agent Zest
ऐसा
plays the
टेस्ट नहीं
best
करने
at. Because
का
these Geckos
भरोसा
improving,
रखने का
but
पावर्स
not to the
कोई पावर रहता है
extent that Bleed kind of want in this, in this very crucial of crucial games.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that as well, because while Zest has played this guy on other maps, generally back at DRX, whenever they would play the bind, he's usually still playing the hard info, right? Things like the fade, and it's the stacks. It's stacks that usually plays this guy. So curious to see what the idea
Bhai,
here is.
Ringa,
Maybe just
Ringa,
trying to
Roses,
set up the A
pocket
a little
full
bit
of
more with a
Roses.
just pure double team alongside Zest, but it's going to be an easy entry here. Right through that high tide. They will get B-site for free. Wingman planting. It's 5 members ready to fight. They want to push back out. They want to make sure that they cannot come through. Oh, but the flash,
क्यों
no
गया
flash
बाबा?
there.
क्यों
Again,
गया बताओ?
scary.
उसका ब्लाइंड कितना
क्यों
सेक्सी
गया
था
ऐसा?
वैसे
Bad nade
Rip.
too from Ye, as you saw.
क्योंकि
Kinda
सारे लोग
separated
पुश
the
करने वाले
players
थे
of
नेट
Bleed
ने
there, so
रोक
they're trying to
दिया
push out onto B main, so that's rather unfortunate. Forsaken 2 more seconds before he has his high tide. Is that going to be able to cut the site in half, let his teammates come in? Absolutely yes. You can already see the players of Bleed coming around the corner. It's all about the fights right now. And the defuse coming in from the wingman. It's not stopping. And the wingman is an absolute
क्या टीम है भाई
इसमें मारा अभी
comes
इनका
into
पिक में नहीं
assist.
मारा
इसको मैसेज
Fight
करो
because
गोल्ड
it's
बैक
3K,
करो
but
मेरे
you know
को
what?
करो कोई ना
That
कोई
gets the
देखेगा
defuse perfectly.
Wingman's always there for at least one of the teams, it seems. Of course, getting the plant and the defuse that time in that pistol.
मेरे को
And,
कर दो.
yeah, I mean, the missed util a little bit, that hurts, right? Because without that, the idea was sound.
Excuse me?
Go in, push back out of main, make sure you take control and kind of
भाई
force
ये
them
का
out
नसीब
entirely
कितना
of the
खराब हो
site.
सकता है
But
यार.
then they had to be corralled all the way back into elbow. Not
देखा
much of a
टिबोन क्या
chance
हुआ?
there, and now the outlaw comes
क्या
out
बड़े?
for Jing.
वो
He's been
बंदा
picking up a
गेको
little
को
bit
मार रहा
more,
था पीछे
but
ये
as they
मरा.
continue to play here in stage 1.
I think it's him and
इतना बुरा नसीब है
Forsaken
ये.
that has the most outlaw kills in Paper X.
भाई गेको बहुत strong है
Wouldn't
बे.
be surprised.
Yeah, I thought it would be something, honestly, but
He waits for the op. He doesn't deal with just the outlaw.
yeah, he wants the good stuff, you know?
Yeah, he lets his teammates, oh, you guys can
Buddy.
play with the outlaw.
Buddy.
I play with the big guns. Oh, wow.
Yeah. He getting a pick on short there. That's an opening that Bleed might not want to pass up on. They are already trying to push here on the contact, but Mindfreak, he's too fast, and he finds the spike as well.
The timing with their
Yeah,
Trailblazer makes sure
man.
that he cannot be traded. One of them
खेलने
has
का
to
बंद
look
कर
back
Headphone.
to see if there's going to be a follow-up through that
मन तो
teleporter.
कर रहे लेकिन
And
सर्वर
that's a
तो
great
नहीं
setup from Paper X. It's simple, but it's effective. Now spike down. Device protecting it. Long range. Gets the Sheriff at the ready.
Spots too.
Yeah, now he's ready for the push in. Sticks with the Spectre. Great smoke to cut them off.
There's just a ton of them. They really can't go through this. There's just layers upon layers.
क्यों पिक किया
And
फिर भी
Scary
उसने?
sure he's going to be able to get the first pick onto Devi.
दवाई ने क्यों
Not
पिक किया?
able to
सपोर्ट
upgrade
तो आ
his
गया
weapon at
था.
all, as he will just back away with the
और
classic.
चेता क्या
Maybe
उसको?
try to attack elsewhere on an angle,
बात
but
है,
something
जल्दी देखेंगे,
is
GEELI
already on short, preparing, waiting, and striking.
DFM
Finish
जीतेगा
off
2-0.
for the second round.
It's just a small little thing.
साला
I mean,
देश
Bleed,
through ये
they
बे.
were double team in showers. It was honestly not a bad
पावर्स
setup.
कर रहा हूँ
Went
मैं
on an eco.
पावर्स.
But
मतलब
right as that TP door opens, Zess has
बोल
to
नहीं
look
सकते, समझ जा.
behind rather. Mindfreak swings on and he's able to get an easy double.
जिंक्स कर रहा है
So
बे
difficult
उल्टा
to
बोल
push through.
नाइफ करने गया था नहीं कर
controller,
सकता
man.
था आगे वो भी था
Yeah.
ना हार्बर वॉर स्लो हो जाता था
Yeah.
क्रॉस करता
All right. Anyways, buy round for Bleed. We'll cut that off as a loss because there really was very little chance, especially even though he got that first pick with the Sheriff.
Yeah,
3,
this
2,
side
1.
pushing out
3, 2,
altogether.
1.
Double push,
3, 2,
Relentless ready for it.
1.
He suspects a third as well. He wouldn't be wrong, but he will have to get taken out as he goes for that drop. Aim not stabilized. Now the TP out. Paper X is fast on this, and that actually pressures Bleed to try to move a little bit quicker as well, potentially into a trap, and they just say, you know what? There was one already on B.
Yeah.
That's a TP over to B. That's 2 members trying to pick the weaker side of A.
Jing
भाई
has a nade.
ब्लेंडेड हो गया
If he can time this perfectly, he might be able to kind of cut off that rotation as they come into the site. You can already
Like,
see
come back or
that
what?
was he was trying to do,
हो
but
सकता
Bleed
हो
still
सकता
come
हो
in.
सकता
Paint show's a little bit too short, and that's going to be perfect. That does
एक्चुअल
allow
में
the
ब्लेड
dark spike
अच्छा
onto
खेल रहे
triple.
लेकिन
All these
PRX
smokes
PRX है वो वाला
just,
सीन हो रहा है
again, confusing the vision of Paper X, leaving it all on
अच्छा
the
खेलते तो
J3,
सारे जीत
4
जाए
versus
अच्छा
1.
नहीं खेल
That's going to be a quick little trade.
मतलब
Bleed.
अच्छा खेलते खेलते अच्छा नहीं खेल रहे समझ रहा है
Yeah, I mean, it's not a
वो
true
लोग का
sentinel, but you still have
start
that Viper, you have
round
the toxic screen.
और
He's
mid
ready
round
for
अच्छा
it.
है.
The rest of the members already
उसके
all
बाद
focus
तो
on
एक
to the B
final
side. You know
round
that
आता
you
ना.
should have the better weaponry.
उधर
Granted, again, Paper
पूरा
has a
left
pretty
right
strong
हो जाता
bonus in
bleed.
their own right. And then I love the call to just TP over, right? Even
Yeah.
if there's still somehow a fast rotate, it's 2 members, you're still going as 4. It's a 4v2. You
Can't
know you
send
should be
this
relatively
screenshot of
safe to
order
charge on
Insta.
through.
गोल्ड पे को भेज दो
100%. Something picks up the operator right now. Gonna look for that straight contact onto B long. Nobody
DM.
from Bleed.
देख रहा हूँ
Gonna be challenging him on that one. But the wall from Forsaken might actually push someone in just in case. That being said though, it's a 2-pronged approach. Thrash comes into the corner as well as the dog. Device gotta help out something here or he is gonna be done for this world.
ठीक है.
Ye comes in for the shots. Unfortunately does not commit. He could have gotten something on that one. He will be able to escape and get healed by his teammate as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Tries to finish it off with the patience, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Littlebro going for that plant. And the post plant's not bad. You've got a couple members inside. You still have hookah control. You still have guard control as well. That's a great dizzy through the window. Forsaken gets an easy pick off of it.
That was so good. It actually spotted out Ye here. But where Bleed is
flash.
coming from is around the corner, ring around the
Nice
rosy.
classic.
Scary picks up 2, 3 versus 2.
Classic.
Defuse coming in. Durion trying to delay as much as he possibly can. High Tide blocks a lot of vision, but Bleed somehow figures it out. That's going to be Retla on the great little contact, and Devi
might have to back away as he's 23 and holding on to the operator.
Yeah, you've got to save this operator. It's an early buy up. If you're going to continue to use it, you have to save it up. It's going to be another round win from Bleed, and it really MVP for me, Retla on that one. The positioning on Hookah, he waits and hides himself for the entire time. And when the first cove comes out, it's up to Darian to break it, and that's when Retla props up on the box. He has vision of everybody in sight.
मेरी गलती रात को खेल रहा
And quick reactions here from Scary and Cess as well, right? They push back out with Darion's second
मेरी
crash.
गलती
And then they're able to go for pop flash for pop flash. Scary still able to swing out for the trades. Bleed looking a lot more proactive here on this bind.
Yeah, absolutely. They're able to just kind of have these secondary protocols, you know, just kind of follow up on things, which is not what we saw on Ascent. They usually kind of just back away. This time it's completely different. Very aggressive as well from Bleed here, as you see, throwing out the Busy as well as the Stim Pack. So something that Bleed, I wonder if they'll ever catch on to this, right? You don't hear the war being taken behind that high tide on B. And that should start to signify to you that it's not multiple members on B, right? Whenever they have multiple, they've tried to prioritize sticking for that, or at least making it out. But of course, this time out on Eco, so now they will say, okay, Orb's still not taken. They've backed off the site. Still putting pressure over on A with that toxic screen. Device on an op, and he does not disappoint.
Out of charges.
He's got some history with that. I believe he played Chamber at one point.
Yeah, he used to be the go-to chamber on this team, and with that kill, you know that you stop the advance to push out
push.
That's a couple of body shots.
Yeah, big
और
hits.
ऐसे नहीं कि 1 2
Comes out
4
as well for the
7 में
secondary follow-up.
तीन है वोट
गैंग
कौन
करते बे लोग ये लोग सच्ची में जीटे खेलते थे पहले ऐसा
You
लग
know
रहा
that
है
it's gone through the TP. Retla hears it as well. He's ready for the pinch, but he's waiting for his teammates. They push them out with the orbital strike. Trailblazer pushes him
No
in.
comments, Stephen
Retla's
bhai.
trapped right now,
Aap
trying to
jeet
buy
gaye
time with the snake
conversation.
bite. He knows he has to push through. Ye's opening up space on the other side. The entry successful, but shower control given over to Paper X.
Yeah, this is very confusing for both teams. Smoke's just kind of annoying everybody who wants to get that quick little line of sight. Unfortunately, not going to happen. Right behind the triple, so Divide can't get that shot off. He tries to do it so, but can't really get the wall bang, and Ye comes in for the big
Come on,
one.
Ye,
Game
show the
Versus
haters
one.
baby.
Spike has
Game
already
to.
been planted. Actually, it's in favor of Ye. He also has the nade
Nade
to
bhi.
buy everything against him. Both of them
जीत गए
fighting.
लेट्स गो
Divide,
पता नहीं अभी तक
Nade has to separate himself from the explosions. Another try, another peek, and gets the first one. He's aware. He also saw that he was off of it.
Yeah.
Another one.
वाइट
Third time's
स्विंग
charm.
करके
He knows that
हारना
Divide
बेबी
has to let go of that spike early because he's on an op. So he's just
What? Divide!
भाई क्यों
I thought he had that.
कैसे
4 times he peeked Divide, and he saw him off of the spike, and the one time he actually goes for the wide swing challenge is when Divide gets the hit.
कैसे कैसे
What Ye was doing very correctly was that he knows that Divide has to let go of the spike early, right? He can't wait for a reaction shot because the op's going to take longer to bring the scope back up.
भाई सिर्फ
और
टैप
खेल
में
लेता
पिक
भाई,
करना था
right.
सिर्फ
Just
टैप
jamming
में
without
पिक
actually
करना था
catching
पता है
sight. But
तो
even
टैप के
Mindfreak
बाद
can't believe it,
गन
right?
आते ही नहीं हाथ
At
में
that point, Ye goes for the decision judgment call that now Divide's going to be pressured to run back towards the spike.
टैक्सी ऑफ करता है
And now it's just a peek out for something.
अरे
that's
बाबा
safe.
नहीं मारता रे
Okay, the
बाबा
turn
मारा
at
लेकिन
the very
उसको मारा
least. We'll
मारा
get the
लेकिन
trade,
वो
and
मर
Retla,
गया ना
he's always got bleeds back.
फालतू का कैसे मारा
Push on
मारा
Belong's
था
going to be a little bit delayed, even though Divide does get hit by the Trailblazer. Goes in for the peek, wants to go for the fight here against Zest, but speaking
यार
of, Zest
स्पाइक
is gonna
सिर्फ
just
टैप
double
में
up with
करना
the rest
था
of
यार
the team
he
using that
hears
Stim
everything.
Beacon to just
मैं बोला ना अर्ली और
straight
मिड
into
राउंड
a
एक
short
बार
where
देखो ब्लीड का
yeah, it's a perfect read.
सारे
No one's here
डिसीजंस
for
बराबर
the
होते
moment.
हैं
Yeah, but
अभी
Divide
फाइट
cleared all of
बराबर
it, right?
लिया
You heard the
साइट
audio
ये
as
लोग
well.
बराबर
He got
जा
Mindfreak
रहे हैं
with the orbital strike. He just
इधर
has
एक
to
ही बंदा
watch
है
for the flank.
अभी ब्रिम ब्रिम
Once
अल्ट
they hear
मारेगा
that
ये लोग को
plant
टिपी
coming,
मारना है
This orbital strike's going to go down.
सब
and that
करेंगे ये
buys
लोग
all the time. Okay, it's just the pin as well. Perfect timing. Divide
नेवर
now
माइंड पिट यूज किया
ready
तो
for
टिपी
the
नहीं मारेंगे
flank.
शायद
It's going to be coming around
Here's
the
him.
hole.
Spike down.
लग रहा है
It's
एक
outside of the
टिपी
pin.
मारने जाने वाला था
Oh, and the timing for Mindfreak to pinch back into it. Paper Rex, they move as one.
स्टार्ट मिड राउंड बराबर है बैक पंच के बाद भी
Scary how
खेले
that is just
कृपया
how
कंप्लेंट करो
Paper Rex
अरे
goes.
यार नहीं सो पा रहा था
Lead,
मैं
though,
क्या
I do
करूं
like the answer, the clapback, right? To just go straight into the showstopper,
Totally
knowing
fine.
that something doesn't really have that mobility. Thankfully enough, Ye gets that, 180 turnaround shot, so they can get started with these trades. Fortunately, just comes up a tad bit short.
And now they'll have to go for the save. 5 Sheriffs, only a couple half armors on the side of Bleed. And they'll slow things down, just try to work around the toxic screen. They haven't really utilized it too much in an aggressive sense. It's actually worked wonders in kind of helping out
PRX में कुछ तो है
the
बे.
lurk against Paper X as they try to push out against it, but they haven't really dug deep into anything
कुछ
like
तो मतलब
lamps
something है
in a
ना.
couple of these rounds. So see if they can start to apply that pressure here on an eco round.
ये अच्छी थी भाई.
That's interesting too.
Lock
Right?
कर
They
सकते
got
हैं.
the double initiator as well. You'd think that maybe after a flash or two, Ye can just rummage into the site. Unfortunately not.
Huge pick from Zest though, from long range, all the way back site.
Nice throw, nice throw.
That draws out the high tide, so you know the
Green को
harbor
देखने walk करके
still
आज
around the
4
A
घंटा तो
side.
चल रहा
It's
था
gonna
और
be the
कितना
biggest
walk
difference
करूँ
maker to the
टांग
harbor
तोड़ी
and a
तोड़वा
bike
ना.
rock, so you know where that high tide's starting from. So you know you've drawn a little bit of that extra util. You're drawing out a second smoke out from the brim as well. So both of them somewhere nearby. And now you're going for the numbers play. Still all 5 members alive from Bleed. Now the toxic screen. I don't mind this in
that's
terms of the
perfect.
round, yeah, but the reckoning is good.
30 seconds left.
But Forsaken has gone down. Mind Freak on top like a sentry, only going to be able to be at
ऐसे
least
round जीतते.
the one pick.
Yeah, he's close. Not sure if Devi reads this.
Last player standing.
He will not.
Yeah,
मार
didn't
तो
have
रहा
a
है भाई.
clue.
ये आज मार
Op
तो रहा है.
has to be saved. The econ isn't exactly rich on the side of
आज ही के
Paper.
दिन
They'll be
मारना था
okay,
इसको, हाँ?
but the op they'll definitely have to save over if they want to use it.
Yeah. This is a thrifty round for Bleed. If they wanted to, they can maybe even send one
Problem
person
is PRX
to
attack.
see where something is.
उसको कैसे रोकेंगे ये
Get a
लोग?
chance to take the op away from his hands.
रोकने के लिए technically सब
Yeah,
है.
it wouldn't have been
Molly
the worst
है,
call, right?
दो
Anyone
Molly है,
that is
nade
in
है.
range to pick up a rifle, you know, someone like Zest, only
फिर
2
भी
points
PRX
away.
है.
You could have done that, but it looks like
PRX
they
के
just want to
attack
kind
को
of
कैसे
focus
रोकेंगे?
more on their own econ build-up. You know, as they're exiting, they will see if they
First
find
ही
him.
हारना PRX के लिए
Gonna be a
common हो
double
गया
team
है.
all the
वो
way
लोग
back
ऐसे ऐसा
into
push करते
defender
हैं कि बहुत
spawn.
first ही हार.
Oh,
उसका
okay. The last-minute jump. Something's ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great start here for Bleed. And this is something I kind of noticed as well with the start of
Shot
basically
बे.
this bind map that Jing has, what, died 2-3 times on these thrifty rounds from Bleed with these Sheriff plays. So that's been something that at least Bleed has obviously used to their advantage, and you know that lack of firepower
Jing
right
या
now,
something एक
not
decide
just, you
करना.
know,
दोनों एक
Jing's
sentence में
ability
बोल
to
रहा
just
है.
frag out, but also the threat of the nades kind of just
ये देख
not
फिर
having
से
that
push.
is making Bleed more courageous, just going for these aggressive
बस
pushes.
बस थोड़ा
Bleed's ready
base
for this.
थोड़ा
You're
base
already
में जा
spread
रहे
out
हो लोग
apart, but
बस.
they'll even use a guiding light. So guiding light traded for the showstopper, not the end of the world. Now, how does Bleed retake that control is the big question.
क्यों नहीं गए
Paper
base
X not
साहब?
going to stick around though. They've made that mistake before in the past, right? Where they say, okay, we send the
Impossible.
showstopper, we just chase through it all the way to the very end of the
एक
round. It
मजा
doesn't
चल
work out
चल
very well.
रिलेशन में
So
ना.
the re-clear from Showers.
Already घर में तीन
For
तीन
now, the
chairs.
movement much more fluid on the side of Paper X. They're
घर
still
लेना है
holding
अभी
on
सीधा.
to
घर.
crucial parts of the map.
Redla could be in for a rude awakening here as there's
अभी ये कैसे
two
उठाएगा?
players, Forsaken and Jing flanking around. Something threatens with the op. And Redla, he's so convinced that A short is for himself. He's not about to know about
He has no
this.
idea. I mean, he thinks he cleared Showers. He has no idea. You've been taken over. A-Site now entirely in control of Paper X. Bleed's trapped.
इसको कैसे clear
Wise
करेंगे?
up from Judge as well. Do they have a flash to at least get contact on Hookah, or are they just going to go for the blind peeks? Well, they go for that
Never
one.
mind.
But as you can see, Mind Freak, he's got his boys
जिसको
back.
बोला
3K
उसने ही नहीं
for
मारा
Mind
एक
Freak.
भी.
Paper X.
चल रहा है बे चल रहा है.
Right
बैटरी का
back.
जरूरत नहीं है.
Oh, the peek out around the Dizzy. A little
Russ
bit
और
delayed
बैंक
there
का
on the side of
Aigel
Bleed.
कौन
Gives
है?
something
Lightning
just enough
fast.
time to reposition after dodging the blind.
Ooh.
He's even positioned wide. I don't think EA was ready for that wide of an angle.
One enemy.
But afterwards, I mean, they had to use the early flash as well to clear
Cold,
out
babe.
the
Cold,
showstopper,
cold.
things like that. Not enough util, and that should be the timeout from Bleed.
Versus well for this map in particular.
ब्लीड का कोच क्या बोल रहा है यार अभी? सारे rounds तो आज ही throw
Expecting
कर रहे
that
लोग.
maybe they got that round
Huh?
together, but fortunately, again, they just can't figure out how to
Same, man.
mitigate that first contact against something in his operator, right? They see him, he always gets that first pick, and then they just kind of back away. It's been
Yeah.
happening so many times right now on Bind that they just can't. Again, it's just hard to figure out.
And it's so tough on Bind because it's not as clear cut as other maps where you
Shubham
can just
bhai.
say, well, we found the operator, let's avoid it. Because
Question
at the
है
end of the day,
बोलो
क्या
भैया
आज के दिन हमको
हाँ
मार्शल प्लस आउटलॉ प्लस ओपी वाला कॉम्बो देखने मिलेगा?
देखो मुझे उसका आउटलॉ चलेगा, दिक्कत नहीं है, ऑप नहीं चाहिए बस, वो भी अटैकिंग।
हाँ मार्शल मार्शल चलेगा?
डिफेंड में ऑप चलेगा ब्रो, टेंशन
Brace to
नहीं।
follow up,
अटैक
just a
में
little
अगर
bit of extra
उसने ऑप
pressure.
लिया ना,
Just
they're probably
think,
aware now that-
Polvi,
जाऊंगा
We
मैं
made-
थोड़ी।
he's
Excuse me,
gold
Elon
rank.
has been the domain
Binks
of
भाई,
some
कोरिया
people
से कब जा रहे हो
this
आप?
time. Quick little flash out from
next
TP
month.
there outside of showers, so that does give quick information for Paper Rex here. You can't see the
मुझे
leader
वो
chasing the
Korean
kill
mask चाहिए।
through that pick up the orb. Not going to happen this time, but at least forces
मेरे पास है मास्क
Notified.
पहन के तो जाता था
not
मैं
get
मैंगलोर.
contacted, but you know, just a bit of information
मैं
from
आपको
on
एक
both
और मास्क
sides.
दे
yeah, but that's
सकता हूँ,
both
मेरी
guiding
वाइट
lines used by
मास्क बहुत
Divide.
अच्छी है।
Now they have to hold on to these
All
areas, especially by
pimples,
some
all
because
dark
you heard two
circles.
vandals on the side of
Also
showers, so
आपके
something knows
बाल
that
भी
he's
वापस
relatively
आए।
safe. Bleed should have
थोड़ा
heard the
ऊपर
trailblazers
भी-
going through
ऊपर भी
TP as well, so they know
चिप
that there's
चिपा के।
still two members.
Saw him.
भोसड़ी
catch a
का
sight of
फोरहेड
Ye, knows
मेरे
that
से
it's
बड़ा है,
back
फिर
out.
भी ये सब बातें करता
Something
है.
doesn't want to chase through.
Yeah, especially
आपकी
with-
हेयर
he's
लाइन,
going to get pinched from both angles,
आपकी
right?
सारी
He's
बाल
on as well
वापस
as
आएगा।
and True onto mid.
मुझे ऐसे क्यों लग रहा है
This
तेरा
is a
बाल
successful
इसलिए जा रहा है
fake out
क्योंकि
from
तेरा
Bleed.
बियर्ड ज्यादा हो रहा
I
है।
mean, they stayed for so long until
beard
all the
काटू
sky
क्या?
util was used by Paper X. Now they don't really have
काट
great
के
ways of
वापस
getting
ऐसे डाल
info
दे,
because
थोड़ा
something is
चाहिए तो
stuck on
नीचे
this
से तुम्हें
op.
दे सकता हूँ।
Might have to
थोड़ा
even
कर ली है,
use
चलेगा?
the TP. He gets a little bit too
ची
dicey on that
T-bone.
positioning. There he
लोग
goes
lunch
once
कर
more,
रहे
but
रहेंगे
once again,
बड़वे.
not gonna happen this time, yay! Oh my god!
ओ भाई,
Something!
भाई आज मैं
Was
डिक्लेयर
that a
कर रहा हूँ,
no-scope operator shot?
something is
I
the
think it
greatest
is.
offer
Still
in
though.
Valorant.
Calm down. Bleed pushing it to the B side. They open it up somehow. That's going to be a 5 versus 4 on the retake, but they get the B side and hopefully plant the spike right here and now.
Yeah, but you already gave him TP control. Something's already there. Elbow already given over to Forsaken as well. The placements are not good. Scary finds one. He's going. He's ready for the jump shot. Scary holds on to Uga. He gets taken down. Now both members of Bleed stuck in the site. They have no idea that somebody's already gone through Elbow. It's a wraparound for Forsaken as Paper X will pick up a 6-round win. What a shot from something. I mean, I would love to see this from Ye's POV. Because I wonder, did he hesitate or did he simply land? Oh my.
What a
Didn't
shot.
hesitate.
No, he didn't. He just,
Yeah.
it's just
Dude,
extra
this guy
pounds.
never
That's all the
misses,
time
man.
something needed.
Yeah.
Something he misses.
One enemy remaining.
I'm just going to, be quiet a little bit just to let that shot sink in. What a shot!
Just another round for something.
Yeah.
इतना बुरा लगेगा ना रे, ऑफ के
That one
पीछे
hurts.
टिप्पी करके भी
That
मार
one
खाया.
hurts because
Huh?
if he had gotten the kill, right, he applies pressure on the other side. You get a free
yeah.
plant. I mean, it's a whole different round.
Absolutely.
प्लांट पे भी ऑफ ने मारा, टीपी में भी ऑफ ने मारा. ये पूरा बीटी में गया रहेगा अभी तक.
That is a very aggressive use of the orbital strike, and it seems like Paper X are actually
What an
gonna just
escape,
go
dude.
chase for the kills right now. The separation onto the high tide, and Bleed can't escape. They have to get slowed as they try
heavy
to just get
खेलते
out of
हैं
the site itself. Breathless gonna have to pinch in from the other
सब
side. like
जगह
we
से
saw,
पुश
but
भाई ये लोग
Mifric's gonna be able to
कैसे,
stop him dead in the
मेरे को
tracks.
नहीं समझ
Two
में आता
players
PRX
of Bleed
जीतती
to remain.
कैसे.
Scary
player
and
standing.
Scary. No more
Attacking देखेगा,
Durian.
घर जाएगा तेरा.
Gets the first. He's always
अबे
been good. These
डिफेंस
kind
में
of
जो
भाई
टीम
की
बेस
this time,
जो टीम
as
बेस में
Paper
बैठेगा वो
X
नहीं जीतेगा.
put their
हर
foot down
बार किधर ना
on
किधर
round
पुश
10.
होता है, हर
Numbers
बार.
खेलते
so
भी,
good at
लोगों को
Raze and even
attackers
hopes
बोलते
to
हैं, लोग
fly,
attacking
go
नहीं,
for a
defending
peek out
से
with the
ज़्यादा
blast
attacking
pack.
करते
I
हैं.
don't even know if that's intentional, but
तो
this
डिफेंडिंग में
guy
क्या होता है, डिफेंडिंग
is
ज्यादा
loaded
अटैक
with the
करता
blast
है. सो
packs.
उल्टा है.
What a pinch in on the TP. No wonder they commit
Ad
those
तो है,
ultimates right
ad
there.
तो आज off
Orbital
है
strike
यार.
pushes them out. Jing goes through. Once he gets the kill
रुक जा.
device there to make sure that he can keep Jing alive.
Yeah.
Classic Paper X on Bind. You got to watch out for those TP plays.
अभी नहीं
नीचे
खेलते.
उधर ही नीचे ये रहा
What's the play now? Something.
Huh?
Just a
Manually.
quick little pick on short. Smoke. Viper wall gets put
बराबर
out in
ना?
front of his face, so he backs away a little
अभी नहीं
bit.
आएगा.
But you do see there's two players right behind him.
आएगा तो
Waiting for
YouTube
that
की
quick
गलती है
assist
हमारे
just in
कंट्रोल में
case.
नहीं है ये
So he's never pushed out on A short. He's never been
मतलब
on A
YouTube
short
की
with the
गलती नहीं
operator.
है.
See if they're ready
YouTube
for it.
अच्छा है.
That Boombot does
I
let
think
Retla
spotted
know. Yeah, both of them kind of catching sight of each other. The Mosh will not
अच्छा
land all the
YouTube, love
way.
you, love you YouTube.
At least it does give a bit of positioning, repositioning for something here. Yay.
Ah,
Contact, they throw the
मजा आ गया.
dizzy. That's a lot of resources put just to get a bit of control on Hookah right now, and still Bleed are unaware of what's kind of waiting for them on the other side of this B site.
The problem also is that they don't have control of the TPs on the
तुम लोग ने miss किया
extremities, right? So
round?
you can't go for something like a
हाँ,
Seeker
slow
play
तुम
on
लोग।
B, see if there's enough members. If not, we rotate.
150 का premium
If
आता
you
है,
use the Seekers
150।
now, I mean, they'll let you know where they might be, but it's not going to be great. Counter Seekers coming out. Now that's a good timing from Paper X. Lets you know that it's not the B site. That's not the main force. These Seekers
ये
are
नेट
all
देखा हुआ लग रहा
going to
है,
A
नेट
short
देखा हुआ
and
लग रहा है।
Bleed. They are being chased in by the cabbages.
देख 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 देख
Only 30
अभी wall down
seconds.
होएगा।
Now spotted. They have to follow the Seeker's lead.
There it is. Orbital strike as well, used to flush out Jing out of position. Actually works in their favor. As well as the Seekers actually blinding something somehow. That's going to be the start
Molly
of the
missed it,
take. Spike.
बंदा
Not
मार रहा
blinded.
है।
It got stopped.
Mind
It got
freeze.
delayed. This is
Niche,
not good.
niche.
They have to rush right in, but you can see already
मारा है
Paper
कोई
X
तो।
trying to delay
Still
as
don't
much
have it.
as they possibly can. This is not working in the favor of Paper X as Bleed stands their ground. Zest coming around and something. He wants to go again
Blind था
for
वो।
the no scope. Not going to happen this time. Redlow with a little bit of friendly fire, but it's not going to matter as Bleed pick up the round.
Oh, that was a dicey one. I mean,
Hello?
Mindfree could have been the absolute clutchest of kills to deny the spike plant there. Just a peek out of showers, recognizing that Bleed didn't have the time, didn't have control of the entire site. Overall, Retla fires back, knows that he's stuck in
उसने नहीं देखा क्या इसका ult है?
1-1 क्या
do
1?
their best, but yeah, I mean, they're just falling
अच्छा,
all the
वैसा।
way over from showers. If that no scope had hit, I mean, something's in the waters today for sure.
Second no scope of the day, no? In any case, though, that was just some great contact.
हाँ मजा आ गया।
I think just great planting of their foot on the site. Not just, you know, planting the spike, but just holding their ground and making sure that they can, you know, can just follow up what was already
इनकी
there.
आज big day है मेरे लिए, big day।
Between the buy
ये
as
stream
well as
करूँगा,
Jing.
These are
फिर
getting
ऊपर
shot down
करूँगा 3
real
घंटे,
fast.
फिर
Bleed
NA
has to be
करूँगा
ready for it.
और सुबह
Sees
सन
him
का भी
dash
मैच
out,
है,
but that
सन
might be the
वर्सेस
extra
लाउड।
trap now against Divide. Does he
Sonny!
check for it? He does. He's just going to check the close corner. It's way too many smokes.
वो क्या बैठा था ना
Separating
छुप के
Jing
लेकिन?
as well as Zest.
Read sexy था ये।
The rest of Bleed still
लेकिन
somehow
expect
here
नहीं
on
करेंगे बे
Hookah.
इधर।
Forsaken. Smokes dropping down. There's the quick little contact against
फिर
Yang.
भी मारा,
I think he
फिर
wanted to try to
भी
escape
मारा
right
उसको।
then and there, but not going to happen this time as Jing is alone for the moment until the rest of Paper X come in to assist.
Now, Bleed, they still have 40 seconds. They had control of the TP as well, but they recognize that with the molly, with the smokes, it's safe. Now, Retla still holding the lurk as well. It's the long wrap
Nice
around
stream sniper.
from something. They know that Retla's always been around somewhere to watch for the flanks. Tyrion good for one on the box.
Jing. Oh, they get two. This is
Uh-oh.
the start steps to maybe retake the site.
But the reposition's there from Bleed, right? They still
Yeah.
want to hold on to a crossfire no matter which way you come through. Zest constantly, oh, he's not ready for the
अरे।
timing there.
पता तो
Scary
था
all alone.
उसको।
Game bot है क्या?
You can hear the footsteps too.
So scary
Coming around the
always.
corner. No idea where something
Scary.
is.
God
What
बे,
does he
भाई
do? He
sexy
reads
clutch
him
करता है।
like a book.
देखने में मजा आता है।
मजा आता है।
That was like a horror movie, right? You hear the footsteps get all the way right up to you, and then it just disappears. You're like, where is he? Is he around the corner? Is he behind the door? And Scary just recognizes, if I'm not hearing you, you got to be above. Gets the right read.
तेरा
It's a
mouse
clutch
pad
from
किधर है?
Scary. A much needed one.
सब
Now it's
रखा
a
है।
5-7
नहीं कर
scoreline.
मिस
Not bad at all from Bleed.
तब तक नया आ
This
जाए।
is the scary
हो
movie.
सकता है कि मैं
How
कुछ
about-
गिव अवे
No.
भी करूँ, हो सकता
The story of how Scary
How
just
about we
keeps
get the
clutching. Gets Paper X
guys
over and
should do
over and
something.
over again. What a monstrous read to clutch out that
फिर
round, especially when, you know,
future
we saw something
अपना बच्चा-
already kind of
वो collection
entering in
सबको
from
बताएगा।
that mid position. You called it already. Red Dot's been spotted. They started
समझ
losing
रहा है।
so much of, I guess, their post
है।
plan.
बच्चों को कैसे पता
Correct.
रहेगा?
200
By the way, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but
$1,000
that's RB's nephew.
200,000.
Which one?
The
one
little
convert करके
kid in
कितना
the
होता है?
middle that's holding up the sign.
With
and
the
I
blue
believe,
shirt?
Yeah, and I believe that kid's
Yeah.
father
एक
behind him is,
करोड़।
of course, RB's relatives, brother-in-law, I believe.
$200,000
also cheering
एक
for RB.
करोड़ है।
The sign said, please watch RB over at VCT China as well. Yeah, they've been coming
अब
to a
समझा
lot of the
घर क्यों नहीं आ
VCT
रहा।
games. It's great to
यही
see.
He's been
कैलकुलेशन
doing
की वजह से।
really well.
Yeah, he's been playing his picks of agents as well.
Hell yeah.
Continuing to perform out there. But for now, eyes back on to another teammate of his, ex-teammate of his, Zest.
1.6
Currently not having the
crore.
greatest time on the
that
scoreboard,
padle.
but overall
See,
the
I
team
was close.
still hanging on.
एक
With 5
करोड़ और
points
1.5
going
करोड़
into the
में
second half
close.
now on defense for Bleed.
हाँ भाई close ही है.
Right, let's see the
Close था.
offensive posture here for
पूरा
Binks.
1/3 miss
Mindfreak,
किया है
he's got
तूने.
a stim beacon, so it's going to be a quick little run through
तो
on
बोला
B main
कितना
or
होता है?
B long, excuse me.
बोल
Want
तो
to go for
दिया
a
वो
quick
लोग
little
ने.
contact while Bleed
हाँ गिव
the
अवे
other
का क्या गिव
is
अवे
going to
एक
go the other way on
कुछ
mid.
Ball.
है गिव
Yeah,
अवे
I'm
बाद में
curious.
बोलूंगा.
Pushing
But
out from here
confirm
does
है,
not
confirm.
seem to be the best because you can get pinched. Okay, but they're going to go with
60
no
lakhs
audio.
में
That I
एक
don't
और
mind. I
मुंबई
was
में
afraid
नहीं
if they were
मिलता
going to go
60
for a pop
lakhs में
flash. They hear one footstep. They know it's just one as well. It's a quick peek out, and now you know that's got to be a lurk.
तुम लोगों को माउस
They
पैड
are
अच्छा लगा ना.
pincered in, excuse me. So if we do see the push out from Divide,
कंफर्म है कुछ.
might be able to actually get a couple of unnoticed kills here from the rest of Bleed.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, right? You
Yeah.
thought that Forsaken was the lurk. Are you ready for a second lurk?
They so
ये
far
हिंट देता हूँ
from
कि
the situation too,
उसमें
especially when you can't
वो
see
नहीं
that
है.
Vaporex
मतलब
Oh!
सिर्फ माउस पैड नहीं
the
है. तीन
spike
चार
on
चीजें.
B.
Five
nice.
Spots out two coming in through B long, has the assistance of something right now, and here comes the firefight. Who's gonna get right on top? It's gonna be Paper Rex. Two players of Bleed now coming in through TP, drops right in.
मिलेगा.
They're not wasting any
खतरे
time
में बोल.
anymore, and Durian. He's still pretty healthy. He still also has the wingman, so if he somehow manages to push into this one, gets that contact against Jing, it might actually work out in his favor. Absolutely not going to happen at this point, since Jing was just
जीत
waiting
गया बे.
outside the
2-0
window.
लग रहा है मेरे
Yeah,
को.
that frenzy doing wonders for Jing on that close range, able to take out
Custom
the
mouse pad.
Dizzy
अरे जो मैंने
immediately, get
दिखाया था
ready
मेरे
for
को
the
मिला
trade
है.
as well.
VCT वाला.
And of course, the late
इसको
wraparound
दे
for
देंगे
Divide.
collection
Darion's ready for it. So the good news for Bleed is that they were ready for a potential extra flank, right? They heard the TP, they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Even as they were going into the TP, you could see on the minimap that they were ready for a potential extra member. So they've got their heads on
अरे
correctly
ये वाला
here in
नहीं
the
अलग
second
से
half.
मंगाया है.
But it's going to be Jing picking up quite a few kills, bringing him all the way up to 8.
सर पे कर मेरे laminate.
Now they actually go for a
Area
massive
बहुत
peek,
बड़ा है.
massive push on B long.
ले लिया ना point.
You know, byproduct of that as well as they
Orb
stop
ले
Zest
लिया.
from picking up an orb. So
Why
all
is
those
your head
little
blurry?
things, right? In any case,
Huh?
Why is your
high
head
tide separating
Not well.
PRX Octagon onto the B site actually works out in their favor, just in case that someone's there pocketed themselves
My
in.
leg is hurting, my body is
Now, they're
hurting, my
just
head
holding
is
off,
hurting.
waiting for those smokes to drop down, and they drop their own.
Yeah,
Mad,
yeah,
what
you know,
sleep?
they think they might be able to try to buy enough time. You showed the sky earlier. You put up the toxic screen. Maybe that forces them to
भाई
rotate
नर्फ
back over to
होएगा
A,
क्या मेरे को लग रहा है
to
बे
try to
heavy.
be
Yeah,
one
it is.
step ahead in the
Gekko.
mind games, but this is Paper
Gekko
Rex we're
तो
talking
Gekko तो
about.
होगा भाई.
They
Pick
have the
rate
weapon
ज़्यादा हो रहा है.
advantage.
जिस
They've
दिन
got
pick rate
util.
ज़्यादा
They
होता है
will
वो
dive
नर्फ
in.
होता
They
है.
always use that code to kind of
बहुत
mask their
मतलब
अगला
entry.
आएगा.
Works as a great
मेरे
shield
हिसाब से
now.
पाँच
Great close
आएगा,
पाँच
range.
ये
सेकंड
होगा.
बढ़ाएगा उसका.
Yeah.
5
कुछ
सेकंड
तो होगा.
उठाने वाला बढ़ाएगा
Here
मेरे
for
हिसाब
Bleach,
से.
just not give the ult
हर
charges.
10 सेकंड में ब्लाइंड
you know,
थोड़ा
get,
ज्यादा हो गया.
taken by the spike explosion. Redla holding on hookah, but no one's going to be exiting the site from there. So unfortunately, he's not going to find any chance to maybe go for an exit frag. The Vice staying on the site, and he wants to go for the spike.
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
Just, okay.
This is so smart. So you have 3 Spectres, right? And you're
Yeah.
thinking, whatever, we drop 1 Spectre, it's not the end of the day. It's a bonus round anyway. But if we get those Seekers online early, that's huge. I mean, I love it from Divide.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still what, the bonus round here?
3 और
for
मिले दवाई
Paper
को
Rex,
ये
so
राउंड.
can just get himself a pistol if he wanted to, and that's going to be all hunky-dory for
He's
him.
like,
Red
just
gun
gonna
बड़ी
buy
दे दो.
up.
मैं कहाँ से
Alright.
दूँ?
He says, you know what, with the plants and everything, we got enough money.
भाई
Let's
वैसे
go
ही
right for it.
सबके
I
पास
mean,
2
either
ब्लाइंड
way,
होता
either
है.
way you cut
अरे
it,
तो गेको के
I
पास
think
2
going for the
ब्लाइंड
Ult
थोड़ी
Orbs
है.
there, great plan from
वो तो
Divide.
डालते रहता
Yeah.
है ब्लाइंड.
Especially when he's
10
on a support
सेकंड
agent,
में.
right? Why not?
क्लोज
Let's go
पर
to show
पर
how
आएगा. मतलब
big
वो जो
brain
5 दिया हुआ है
The
उसमें हल्का सा
fisherman
डिले
truly
है
is.
लेकिन वो मिल जाएगा जो जिनको मिला हुआ है.
And we see just an early Trailblazer coming out from that TP. It doesn't really gain you too much, though, right? It's not like Bleed is able to hold on to Shower's control. They're just masking it as if they are there.
Renego not
But we'll have
even
to keep an eye
trying
on
to
that if it
waste
comes into
PRX
play.
spike. वो लोग को तो ऑब्स
Paper
से
Rex, of
मरना
course,
है
they don't
स्पाइक से.
exactly have
PRX
someone
का
on
बाइक
the
क्यों
hard
गिराएंगे
lurk, so
स्पेक्टर?
not much information to work with themselves. So Paper Rex,
कोई नहीं गिराता यार.
they will say, okay, let's re-clear where we think Bleed was, right, with the earlier smokes.
Yeah, if there's anyone holding showers right now and they try to escape, that mosh pit is going to cut off their rotation. Not gonna happen
भाई
this time
जीत
though. As
गया लग
Paper
रहा
Rex
है
just goes in for the mad contact. Scary now throws out the molly. Is that going to be enough? The flash comes by
ये लोग
himself.
ज़्यादा ऐसे
The wingman not
घुसते
gonna do
हैं
anything
ना,
else.
सेल्फ
And Scary
ट्रेड
gets
लेने के लिए
away.
कूदते बे फुल
Forsaken
ब्लाइंड
somehow
रहेगा
manages
तो
to
फुल
sneak up
कूदते
into the front
रहते
of the site. High Tide goes down. As the dust settles, it's a 3-on-3. Redla finds that rotation from something. Forsaken gotta have to go big onto this one. Or else
69
it's gonna be
bolte.
White Freak all on his own. Gets the first little contact, and the Phantom fails
स्नैन
him.
बोलते हैं
That's gonna be scary with the refrag and the 3K for the
वाह
controller
डार्क
here
क्लाउड
of
भाई
Bleed.
Yeah, good hold from Bleed, and I love that eventually they do take control of Showers. Now, it doesn't work out. They don't win the trades. That's unfortunate. But at the very least, you know, in the grand scheme of things, they're
मेरे
early
हिसाब से
util,
15
not
second
entirely
blind fair है.
wasted. They are able to
15
get that
seconds
information
blind
nice and
fair.
early, allow Scary to set up right at the
तो
entrance
उसके
there.
बहुत पोकेमॉन्स है बे
Dodges just that guiding light just barely.
I like that. Just
ये राउंड कैसे जीतेंगे मेरे को वो देखने का
concise,
है अभी.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, you got a long way to go. Too early to celebrate just yet.
Fair enough. Oh, one more. Ah, that hurts. He was just showing off his shoulder, and you already saw something was so prepared for it. The fight does fall to Retla, but a refrag was already inevitable. Durian, he just barely missed the peek out from something on Cubby.
That's a
gonna
good
be
call,
quite
though.
difficult.
It's a good call. Doesn't want to make sure that he's
No, no,
spotted.
no.
There's a showstopper. Doesn't
इसे
find
नहीं
the
मरा
kill.
भाई.
Good spread from Bleed.
भाई क्या
Going to
था
be the
वो
pickups from the backup.
उसने उसके नीचे तो
Showstopper
मारा ना
just going to be
अल्टी
that bait.
और करो नर्फ
That's at the
और
rebound.
करो मेरे रेस को
Scary to
नर्फ
go for this one.
Metal
It's
पे
not
मार.
like it's map point. It's not match point. Says we've got a longer way to go.
Yeah.
You'll back off.
They have some money to buy up into that.
मैं
next round
यूएसए
as
में
well,
हूँ
but
यार यूएसए के
That's a
लिए
dice
कैसे
one. I
गिव
mean,
अवे
2
करो
members at 0
एक
creds,
एनए
though.
के टाइम पे
Yeah,
गिव
for
अवे रख
sure.
सकते
Dead even on 0.
जब
Haven't
NA
seen
का
that
watch
too
party
often.
रहता है लेकिन अभी नहीं नेक्स्ट टाइम करते कुछ
Yeah, well, you know, now in this next round for Bleed,
सेम मेरे जैसा अल्ट तबे
I mean, the jewel peaks, and this is the biggest change we've had with Bind, right? Is not so much the map, but it's Sky.
Yeah.
Right back in the day, you could always go for early
और
guiding
सेकंड ने
light,
पहले मार दिया
test
था
out B main, and back out of it. You can't do that
नहीं
anymore. You
दूसरा
gotta
बंदा
kind of
रे
risk your
दूसरा
own
बंदा
life out
जिसका
there.
30
If
एचपी हुआ
not, you will want to pair up with the Gecko.
वो कैसे बच गया
That way you can go for double util and then rotate one over to that A site. But that does mean you're kind of giving up control of, at the very least,
ठीक
A
है
short.
yeah.
ठीक है
And because of that, right, players that can just
Yeah,
kind of
Gecko.
match up or get those good reads on the body language of their opponents gets that one up, especially with something just again knowing that
भाई इम्पॉसिबल है ना
Zest
अभी
hasn't truly spotted him,
Come
right?
back.
Because Zest was only
हाँ भैया
you get the line of sight from the
Impossible है
eyes,
comeback.
so unless he like
GG
भाई
fighting
possible
really
ही
goes
नहीं
out
है
with his
impossible
face
दूर की बात
peeking through something, he's not really going to get that contact that he wants
पॉसिबल
to.
नहीं है
even on
को
the
क्या
minimap,
बोलते हैं टिबुन भाई
if I'm not mistaken.
impossible
Okay, so now it is going to be the early guiding light. Just wants to use it.
Ah.
If he doesn't get a spot, maybe even go for the orb. But now with that spot, okay, so Bleed, a bit of an adjustment, right? In the earlier rounds, they tried to put pressure and they
और
forced,
second
they
को
tried
मार
to
दिया,
force a
अच्छा।
rotate out of Paper X. This time they say, nah, it's Paper X. They might still be coming
अरे!
here. Zest is ready for it.
लैंग्वेज
Sure.
लैंग्वेज
Scary comes back for support. Pop flash just to buy time.
Ooh, too much.
दोनों
That's
एंटी
going to get
ब्लाइंड भाई
punished.
दोनों
Jane coming right in, a bit too over-aggressive as Redla
Redla's
coming
not
around the corner.
spotted.
They have not cleared him at all, and he's about to explode. Actually repositions onto Octa. This is perfect right now, as it's a two-pronged pinch just in case, but the smoke separates Zorion from assisting Redla. That's going to be the unfortunate case right then and there.
ये क्या
That's a
एचपी
2
देख एक
versus
बंदा
3.
दिखा नहीं उसका
Razer
एचपी देख
there.
Swing.
Darion.
Darion's got a chance maybe to peek out of elbow. But, I mean, Device just so aware.
Yeah, I mean, at that point,
He
you
wants
already
to
cut off
go,
the
it was
backup.
funny.
The only one that you haven't really cleared is going to be elbow, so...
टिबुन भाई ये
Right on a
राउंड
swivel.
इंपॉर्टेंट है
It's a
ये
nice
राउंड
idea
ब्लीड
from
आ रहा है तो
Redla. I love
13
the trigger
6
to
खत्म
split.
कुछ
6
भी हो
around
जाए
for
जरा
it.
जी फाइटिंग दिखा दो
Gets the weapon pickup as well.
डीएफएम
But
जीतेगा
just couldn't land
2-0
the connecting shot.
Yeah. And again,
वो तू आज वो कर रहा है
just
क्या
goes to show
जिंक्स
how
बोलते
much
नहीं है
pressure
ऐसा
there is on Bleed to, individually
पहला
just
round
try to
DFM
perform.
जीतेगी,
You saw
ठीक है।
how much they just want to chase for
तीसरा
his skills
round
after that
first
first one,
buy
so they
round
can
भी
net
DFM
more
जीतेगी।
advantages, but
फिर
it's
उसके बाद
traps,
सेकंड
man.
पिस्तौल राउंड
It's Paper
डीएफएम
X
फिर
luring
एक
you
और बाय
in.
राउंड डीएफएम
False sense of
8-0 स्टार्ट
security.
होने वाली है डीएफएम
Oh,
से
मर गया
अरे उसको कॉल तो
Darion
दो
gets away, both of them injured, but they do least
उसको
double up
call
with
नहीं
Zed,
दिया
who's
कोई।
all the way on B long to maybe get healed, but that's far too away. They need to still hold on to the back of the site here, just in case.
Yeah, but that means Shower's control gone. You can't pick up the Thrash again. You already took damage as well. Darion will be going for the heal. But now you give up that entire area. And Paper X, they knew the op was here as well.
Yeah.
So they'll inch forward. They know which angles to now check for if the op is still set up on the
मैंने अभी तक
side.
टाइम आउट नहीं लिया
And now it's
क्या
just going to
करेगा
be a
टाइम आउट
classic
लेगा वो
one
लोग को
for
लग रहा है कि
Forsaken.
कॉम्स
We'll
क्लियर
try
है
to
ना
fish for information. Something's going to get the first pick. And Forsaken's now just on a free lurk.
Oh no.
तो खाएगा ये
He's
Nice.
Oh,
He's
he's
actually
wrapping all the
going-
way around.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he knows. He
Bad
hears
man.
him as well,
Bad
right?
man.
So he's
Bad
just
Where'd
giving
you
that
be?
information. They're just going to pinch on him right here. They're getting tied up. This is all set up for Forsaken. The flash as well.
बाप रे
I mean, Paper X
भाई
absolutely
क्या
toying with their food at this
खेलते
point.
बे
What a setup.
What a hard read. And now it's all down to Durian.
अरे
We'll see here how
बहुत हंसने आ रहा है तेरे को हाँ दू आईडी पास दू
maybe.
रुको मैं एक चीज
Wrap him
बोलूं
up. That's just Mind Freak already cutting off his approach to the
एक
B
घंटा
side.
15 मिनट
We're
में
here
गेम्स खत्म
one
है
more
दो मैच
round. And Paper X, they're shooting themselves into the
Yeah,
playoffs.
भाई जी फाइटिंग
2-0
Let's
as
go.
well.
DFM जीतेगा 2-0
Obviously taking that kind of rough loss. Oh, what a drop there.
भाई ये स्टार्ट क्या क्रेजी था बे
Yeah, was even holding that
टीपी
angle.
मार के यहाँ से ब्लाइंड
Something
देख के वो
just a
लोग
bit quicker.
को
One more
रीड
round
भी
to
था
go for
हुक्का
Paper
पुश
X.
का बे
Wrap up their
यार
league
टीम
play
में
here
पता
in
नहीं
stage
थी
1 with a nice 2-0 victory. Lock
गलत
themselves in
टीम
for
है गलत
playoffs over from the Omega group.
मैं बोला ना इन लोग को एक ही टीम हरा सकती है टेक्निकली दो
Bleed trying to do something
एक
different
DFM
right now with the
दूसरी
triple
Genji
stack on Hookah, waiting maybe for somebody like Jing.
जेंजी के
Forsaken
पास
possibly
फायर
even
पावर है
because they
मैच
know that
करने
he's
को
been lurking
और DFM
somewhere
के
on
पास
B by himself.
फंडामेंटल्स है
So they're trying
ये
to,
दो
time
टीमें
it here,
पैसिफिक
Will.
में ये लोग को
Go for
हरा
that push out, but
सकती है वो
Forsaken's
भी
gone
अगर
the opposite
PRX
direction.
ज्यादा फॉर्म में
And
फिर
just
तो
in case
खत्म
it gets a
है
little bit too hairy, he can always TP out of showers.
Yeah, now the rest of the members, okay, it's just a showstopper, but yeah, he's
Ilse
not
pura
able to
lagaya
check
bhai.
all the corners right on time.
DRX
I was about to
DFM
say,
में
he plays
सॉरी
positions,
DRX
it did not
माफ
seem
करो
great.
माफ करो
Right compared to their teammates pushing all the way
फीलिंग
out of
समझ
B,
गए ना
actually
तुम लोग
separated over
फीलिंग
on
समझ
A,
गए
and Darion gets spotted right by the smoke.
And there's the
It's-
flank.
खराब लगा है
It's all falling apart. Scary will get one kill,
जी जी
but it's still a 2v3. No control of this
भाई
site by
क्या
Bleed.
गर्मी हो रही
Yeah,
है
spike has yet to be planted though, but 40 seconds. Paper X
क्या
not
गर्मी
rushing.
हो
They
रही
can
है
just reposition as much as they can.
24
Wait
पे
for the
लेकिन
high
फिर भी
tide from Forsaken to come in because now they know that
नहीं
two players of Bleed are going to be coming through here on a short reckoning for
नाता कौन है
that
भाई
extra bit of safety. They're trying to pop shot through the high tide here. Maybe
शिवम
just
तो
to
नया क्या
hopefully get a pick through the wall.
नहीं भाई
through the
पागल है
smoke.
कौन आता है भाई
There is
बैंगलोर में
just
पानी
so
सेव कर
much
रहे
risk that Bleed are trying to get into as they
मैं भी मेरे
rummage
दोस्त
their
के यहाँ पे
way
पानी
into
नहीं है
the
करके
side.
मैं
Look at
भी
Mind
आज
Freak. He's already on
उस
the
पे
high
उस
ground
पे
once again.
अराउंड आर गेल्ट मर
They're
गए
going to be ready for
We're
it.
guessing.
Got the pit.
ओ
TS
भाई,
2-0
out of syllabus
थोड़ा
वाला
सा
आ
Only
गया।
two, so just in case he can't
वो
find
थोड़ा
him
सा
inside
game
the
left
Viper's
right हो
pit,
गया।
that's
Sound
when
है?
it can,
मैं
Oh my
वो
God,
बोल रहा
हो
हूँ
गया
रे
बे।
कंसिस्टेंट
गलत
जो
हो
टीम
गया
है
बे।
Spot, right? They don't realize that it's on the other
गलत
side.
हो
Oh,
गया
so-
बे गलत हो गया बे
Oh, what a shot from Forsaken as
बुरा
well.
लगा
And
भाई।
that
मैं
will
बोला ना
just be
स्टार्ट
Paper
गेम
X
मिड गेम ब्लीड अच्छा खेलता है उसके
ending the
बाद
game
कुछ तो होता है
2-0, not breaking a single sweat.
and they're going to be what? Our fourth
भाई
team
अभी
right
मेन
now
मैच है
that will
मेन
be heading
DFM जीतेगा
into
2-0
the playoffs here at
हो गया
Split
बे।
1. What?
चैट
I mean,
सबसे
Paper
पहले
X
स्ट्रीम
is
लाइक करो
never
बाद में
doubted him,
पेरेंट्स
right?
को
Never was worried.
पेरेंट्स से
I
हरा
thought some of
सकते
you
थ्रो
were
करके
shaking
वो
a
भी
little
है
bit after that Team Secret game, but
वो भी है
Paper X, they're right back in form. And meanwhile, for
Yeah.
Bleed, I mean, it's a bit of a heartbreaker.
DRX है?
You know, we
या
saw a couple
DFM
games
है?
where they
अरे
looked like they might be
क्या
starting to gain
कुछ
some
लिखा ही नहीं
confidence,
मैंने
but it's a tough schedule here at the end. Of course, they still have one more match coming up this weekend against DRX. See if Bleed can prove that they are still on the up and up, getting ready for stage 2.
बुरा लग रहा है
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of things that Legia was mentioning in that interview where
तो लिख के बताओ
it feels like there's still so much more potential
Challenge
that
कर रही है।
can
हाँ।
be developed here
एक
at Bleed.
यूट्यूबर
Right
को
now,
तू
honestly,
चैलेंज
this match
कर
against
रही
Paper
है
X, I think we still see that. Right?
यूट्यूबर
There's so much more
वैलोरेंट स्ट्रीमर
proactiveness that we've been seeing from
challenge.
Bleed here.
चैलेंज
Sure, there
तू
were
देखा
some
नहीं
times where
आजकल
they would want to go
ट्रेंडिंग
for
पे
those challenges.
यूट्यूबर
Who
चैलेंजेस
wouldn't
में
want
क्या
to
क्या
go for
होता
those,
है
right? If you get an advantage,
किधर है
it's
मेरे
gonna be
boxing
perfect.
gloves?
Anyways, we're going to be passing it on to our panel to discuss
हो
this
जाए,
massive
मजा
series even further.
माधर क्या
Oh, Paper
Maybe
Rex
like
can now
अच्छा,
breathe
अच्छा।
easy. They have
Nice
the playoffs
cancellation.
secured. And for Bleed, Unfortunately, the story continues
भाई
for
मैं
them.
नहीं
And it's
देखती हूँ
only going to
गाली
get
फिर भी
harder
ये
and
लोग
harder from
सुनते
this
मेरे
point
मुंह
out.
से कैसे
Yeah, I
भाई
mean, there's
कैसे
still
भाई
one
हॉल
more
में भी
match.
एसी चालू
It's
करना
against
पड़ेगा लग रहा
another
है बहुत
Titan,
गर्मी
but
है
you know
तेरा
they
AC
still
नहीं चल
have
रहा है।
that chance. Meanwhile, I mean, I want to say that on this map,
बोला था उस दिन,
Bleed
repair
brought
करवा
the
दे।
fire with them. This
अरे
looked a
कैसे
lot
करा
more
था आवाज आता
competitive
मैं
than
स्ट्रीम
Ascent,
कर रहा
and
हूँ
they had some insane thrifty rounds and crazy sheriff shots. It was a little bit difficult for PaperX at times, but that
ये
said,
बैडिंग
when you continue on through, PaperX
ये
just start to
litmus
get in
को
the
देखो।
flow of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Bleed certainly looked better, but PaperX also had some ridiculous moments, right?
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
shot here from something, adds a little classic tap for good measure.
Take comments.
PaperX, you know, like they said, not a single sweat broken.
ओपा बे
They kind of looked like they were having a lot of fun. You know, something was really
Guys,
popping
5K
off
likes
this
करो,
time.
5K
Tobias
likes
was
करो।
consistent as always, had some crazy moments, and you know they're going to playoffs. I think we could have predicted that at the beginning of the season, but you know, some ups, some downs. Certainly a big up for them in this one, and going to be curious to see what their level is going to be like going into playoffs. This for them, obviously, they were the big favorites, and they made it look that way.
It's sort of like balance restored, I guess. It's like PaperX in playoffs. Okay, calm down, everybody. It's fine, but we
ये
couldn't
बंदा
have
already
predicted
mail
that
आ गया
this was
ऊपर
the
वाले
road
से।
they would take, right? Especially
This
since
video cannot be
we
monetized.
did see them falter in quite a few matches, but here they are.
Yeah,
It's
this
secure.
video
They can breathe easy. They can
Cannot be
recuperate and
monetized.
regroup
भाई
for
हमने
what is
एक
about
गाली
to
नहीं
come.
दिया
And
जस्ट
right
एक
now,
गाली नहीं
we
दिया
do have our guess and gain
अरे
segment. And as you
Took a
can
risk.
see, somebody took a
भाई ये
risk.
सिर्फ जी मैच में क्यों
I
आता है
believe that risk.
जिंक्स करने बड़वा
Unfortunately, it didn't pay off this time.
By
We
those
had the
seconds
question,
में
will Zest finish the first half with the most kills within the team? Unfortunately,
अपना
Zest
टीम को
only got
सपोर्ट
ये
करते
क्या
हो
है?
तो
kills
बोलते
during the
कि
first
सिर्फ
half,
सेल्फिश
and
जी का मैच
Scary, I
है
believe,
नहीं
was
आता है
one
तो
who
बोलते हो
got
कि आता
14.
नहीं है
So this means
क्या हुआ?
that people are moving up and
मेरा
a
तो-
duck is
Oh,
moving
boy.
down. We
G5
have
Not people.
Someone's
Hey.
taking
अरे
the
तेरा
lead.
टीम का रिव्यू टीम वाला
Ducks are people. I'm sorry, Quack. Ducks are people too. I'm gonna put you over here. Silver. And wow, look at you, mister.
I know.
Oh.
Look at you.
I'm ascending. I am just a couple of
Okay,
steps
okay.
away from Radiant, which
भाई
is
क्या
definitely
टाइम
my
पे आए
bad
बे
point.
मोहम्मद
Yeah, I
साला
mean,
भी बोल रहे थे
I-
आज हमने एक गाली
ये
नहीं
मैं हॉल
दिया
का एसी चालू
Yeah,
करूँ
one
प्लीज
more step,
मेरे को बहुत
easy.
गलत गलत जगह से
Uh,
पसीने आ रहे हैं
yes, I've only
रुक
been on this
डाइसन
test
लेके आ रही
twice,
हूँ रुक
it's been
मत
बंद है क्या गाली अच्छे
Come with me, viewers. You are now with me. We are here in Platinum.
बस socket है लेकिन।
Hey, look at
good
this.
job,
It's like
viewers.
real life.
बाकी
Believe
लेट
me.
बन जाओगे मानने वाले
Guys, are you ready for
Yes,
some
and now we
G
have
party?
Analyst, who is like you are like looking down from your ivory tower here at everybody, sir.
Yeah, it feels good to be king.
ओ पिंकी
And
मेरे
you've
को
only done this
समझा
with like how many times have you been on panel?
This is my second time.
How is this
Pressure
possible?
आएगा।
Can we have a recap?
I have only gotten 2 corrects. One of them was a
It's
double
a leak,
pointer,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
went up to diamond on my first day, and then
ए
I just got this
भगवान
one. So.
अबे डाइसन है या
That
कोई
one
वो
was. I
बैग
remember
है
the one
कंधे पे
that got
लटकाने वाला
cancelled was, there was, you know, who would get thrifty first, but who would
पागल।
get thrifty, and then I forget what the second one was. But
And you realize
40,000 का
after
सामान
trying
ऐसा
so
लेके आ
hard
रही है
in this
भाई।
game and you show up on panel twice and you're suddenly
yeah.
टीम
you know,
वालों ने सुना
Azra is
है
the
वैल्यू
predictor,
छोड़ दिया यार
I'm the guessing.
we
भाई
all
कल
have our
सर्वर ही नहीं
strengths.
था मैं क्या
We all have our strengths in different.
भाई अभी ना अभी क्या कर रहे हैं पता है अब खेलने से पहले एक बार डेथ मैच खेलना है
We'll find
एक
that.
मैच
That's
क्या
your
करेगा?
journey for Pacific. We're gonna find that. But
भाई
right now,
हम भाई में कम
definitely
से
PRX,
कम
their strength
भाई मैं
is on
immortal
playing
बनता
maps
ये सर्वर लैग की
exactly
वजह
this
से
way,
डिटो
right? We saw that fearlessness come back. We
भाई
saw
सच्ची में भाई
what
उस दिन stream
PaperX
पे
is like when
देखी
they're feeling so comfortable. As you mentioned on this, right? They come up with those
मैं तो
really
बन गया, अभी
cheeky
छूका।
plays. They come up with those fearless, in-your-face plays as
वो
well.
की
But
नहीं किसी ने
Yeah,
आरबी के
precisely.
ने
I mean, the
कैरी
way
किया
that
ये
they started
बोल
off
ये
this
रहा
वेडिया
map,
ये हेलो
especially with
मैं
the
अकेला
defensive
खेल रहा
game,
था
they were controlling those flames from Bleed. They were firemen. They were moving them where they wanted to go, and then they extinguished them. I mean, the way that they controlled this map was to play around the teleporter, and that's how you want to play around Bind. Bleed were often forced to
जब
try to
टीमों मेरी
explore
आंखें बड़ी
around the
ड्राई हो
map,
जाती कुछ
but they
सॉल्यूशन है
couldn't
क्या
really go around the teleporters, so it's always a little bit difficult. And at times, they just resorted to baiting out those utilities from PaperX and then trying to go in for an all-in play. But PaperX were prepared. I mean, you had something on that operator. That one round where he got like, I think it might have been a no-scope against Ye.
I think
Ye
it was,
tried to break his
yeah.
ankles, and something was like, no, my ankles are unbreakable. So
बंडी देखोगे
PaperX, I
मेरे
mean, they
इतने बड़े हो गए
just
हाँ
flow all together. They win off of like synergy
बस,
and
बस, बस,
chemistry,
हमारा।
and they knew exactly what to do. I will say though, Scary puts up great numbers all the time. I actually
But
want to make a
nice.
comparison between him and like
Nice,
Mako,
sexy.
because this guy and Mako are always great for the 1v1s. The one difference is Scary sometimes isn't
Wala.
always
Yeah.
with the team. He's like a little bit further back and like he's able to get
Barabar
those
hai.
wins
Nahi,
and
nahi,
kills,
barabar
but not always able to
barabar
pull
hai.
out together with that full force, and that's why
Bunks
sometimes
bund.
it's not always
Bloodless on है, वो है बे, Dyson.
It's just another thing that
That's
Bleed have to
purified.
work through,
Yeah.
right? As we go on throughout the year, you're dealing with 5 players that have very different playstyles. They all have their own ideas, and it will take some time, of course, for them to really gel, right? Whereas you have
DFM
Paper Rex,
both,
they've
where
been
is my
playing
water
together
bottle?
for years already. They know
Oh,
this
you can
composition. It's
switch
just a
from
matter of
mobile also?
fine-tuning it for this
Oh.
certain situation.
Yeah, it really did feel like, you know, individual players, good individual moments for Bleed looked even better on the second map, but the difference in terms of like team synergy and strategy on Bind was like, it was huge. There was actually a really big gap. So obviously the Paper X members individually are fantastic as always, but it just felt like a big team diff in terms of like all the stuff that Bleed are still going through, still trying to figure out, still trying to work out the kinks. And on the side of Paper X, it's just like, you know, super
Business
smooth
as
sailing, yeah.
Yeah, business as usual, for sure. And for Paper X, eager to see them, of course, in the playoffs. If they're looking like they're in this shape, you know, as we started out, of course, we did see those rocky moments, right? But it looks as though, like, Paper X, they're really coming into this, you know, like, into their peak form once again, Quack.
yeah, beat Global Esports, beat Bleed. Into playoffs, you never quite know. Will they pull out different agents again? Again, you're kind of not sure.
Love his name.
Clove, please. Yeah, right.
I'm still banking on Paper X being the first that breaks.
उधर क्यों जा रहा है?
Would want to believe
अरे
so,
भगवान!
but you never quite know. I mean, because right now you brought out the Sage, you're back with that, you know, Harbor Gecko combo and something playing Gecko also with an operator, still landing insane shots. It's just the fact that, you know, at least for this matchup, they've been together a really long time. Meanwhile, Bleed, you know, maybe like a month, and there's like so much work to do. Meanwhile, Paper X is just so comfortable.
Yeah, I think for Bleed, you know, if you're a Bleed fan, you know, obviously should be a lot of you still. I think it's a bit of a disappointing loss. They didn't really look as good as they did last week, but they still need a lot of time, so don't give up on them yet, and hope they have a, you know, a chance. They still have a chance to make playoffs as well. They're not totally out of it, so we'll just have to wait and see how they look in that match against DRX.
There still is something there, but something is, of course, on the side of Paper Rex. We have to put that joke in there somehow, some way, right? We're going to send it to Jen, who is on stage right now for our post-series interview. So, Jen, take it away.
Hello everyone, I am down here on stage with Paper Rex's Davai after their dominant 2-0 win. Now, congratulations,
Thank
Davai.
you.
Playoffs clinched with this win. Are you relieved? And, you know, will you be able to sleep with both eyes closed today?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of like halfway there, you know. I mean, job is not done, but yeah, halfway there. I think tonight will be a very good sleep, you know, for us. So yeah, very happy about it, and I'm pretty sure the team felt the same way, you know.
What are your thoughts going up against Bleed?
I think it was even though the score looks one-sided or whatsoever, but I think it was a hard game for us. We feel that they were trying something slow, and playing against a slow team is not something that we are used to, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we definitely have to be smarter, I would say, in terms of reading their gameplay and stuff. So yeah, I would say it was a hard game.
You said it was a hard game, so do you think Alex is smiling right now or kind of angry at the moment?
I think definitely not slamming the table,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, definitely.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. You got the job done.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that comp on Ascent, because we saw something very similar to that comp today in Masters Tokyo when CGRS was on the team. You guys played the Fate instead of the Sova, but pretty much the idea was the same. So why bring this back?
I think for Ascent, we kind of feel like the old comp was good, but I think we don't think that it's us, you know. It's more like towards defensive side, and it's not so explosive, you know. And that's why we trying the old comp again, and we feel like, oh, maybe we should just take the old comp, I mean this comp.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just feel like it wasn't really ourselves, you know, playing so defensive and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Last comp really didn't kind of suit you.
Yeah,
Okay,
I feel like we're
right.
playing too defensive,
Yeah.
kind of like too scared, and we
Wasn't you,
expecting
right? Yeah. You just have to be you.
Hey,
Anyways,
Siri.
that put Forsaken on the
What's the
sofa.
temperature in
So,
Navi Mumbai today?
coming from a sofa guy, how would you rate the sofa?
I mean, my Sova isn't the greatest, you know. I mean, but compared to other good Sova players, for example, like Sasi.com, I think his Sova did a pretty good job. But I would rate his fit better than the
Fade
Sova
is
on
better.
ascent. On ascent, yeah.
Okay.
डेडिकेटेड चेयर दिए
But
तेरे
still
को
got the job done
Yeah,
as well.
obviously.
As
I mean,
Forsaken,
it's
yeah.
Forsaken, you know.
Always
so,
do. Yeah.
Always there to do the job.
Now, with how everyone's been playing so far, would you say PaperX is ready for playoffs and that you guys are in that playoff form? Are you guys happy with how you guys performed individually as well?
I think I would say we kind of like halfway there, but at least we win a lot of pistol rounds
Yeah.
and not a lot of 50, you know. So
क्या लिखा?
I'm kind of not
क्या बोला
used to that,
चिड़बा ने?
but
मैं तो कब से बैठी हूँ.
we win some rounds, you know. So
It's good.
yeah,
चिड़बाई का चैट ने बढ़ा ये गई बे इतनी बड़ी हो गई
definitely a positive feelings I would say inside the team. Like people
कैसा
are more
streamer
happy
बनेगी बे?
because we are winning, right? So yeah.
किधर है
I would
इतना
say
स्क्रॉल
we
किया
kinda
क्या लिखा था
also
स्क्रॉल खत्म हो गया
been a little bit-
बहुत
little
ऊपर
bit
गया
more
क्या लिखा था
drive
क्या
to
लिखा था
run few more shots and stuff, you know. I mean,
चिड़बाई गिव अस अ साइन आर यू देयर
from these matches and stuff. So yeah.
ये एक मैसेज करके चटक गए
It is a
I
fact
guess
also.
that's the job laid out for you for playoffs.
Yep.
But here's a hard question. I know it's kind of a Asurai's job to make predictions. But who do you think is going to be the
Well,
last two
that's
teams to make it to playoffs? We have Gen G, Team Secret, DRX, PaperX.
क्या लिखा था?
already in the playoffs. So
If I had to choose two teams from the list, I'm not too sure about the ranking orders, but if I had to choose, probably I would go for Talon and another one.
माय
possibly
वॉच पार्टी
Zeta.
किंग बोला लव
all
यू
right, Talon and Zeta.
Yeah.
All right. Is this from like the scrims or
Yeah,
just
I
based
mean,
on how
kinda,
they
yeah.
perform?
We kind of screamed them
Yeah.
a few times, and they're looking
Taking
good
lessons
as
from
well,
you,
know.
Sidbai.
So yeah, I mean, if I had to choose two teams from there, I would go for these two.
All right. I'll maybe kind of predict the same teams because it's coming from you,
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Davai.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations
Thank
once
you.
again. I'll see you in playoffs.
Yep. See
And
you.
that was Davai with the post-match interview.
हो गया ना,
I'll
qualify
pause
ना,
it after
PRX?
your break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, it's
Obviously.
the global
Binks के बाद में क्या,
Esports
Dyson,
on
yeah.
DFM. We'll see you soon.
G-Party.
DFM winning
क्या लगता है आज का सीन?
DFM 2-0 ब्रो
देखा पैसा वसूल हो रहा है कि नहीं?
पैसा वसूल
हम बोले तो हिटर, ये बोले तो फैक्ट्स.
बिंक्स में एक रेंज ओवर ले लो हो जाए
क्यों रे
रखने के लिए शोकेस में
भाई तुम देख रहे हो क्या स्ट्रीमर कितना पैसा कमा पा रहे हैं? ये नहीं बोला रेंज रोवर का पैसा नहीं है, क्यों लेना है ये बोला.
क्यों रहा रे बाबा में
अबे जब बैंक से ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस ही नहीं है तो लेना क्यों है क्या क्वेश्चन वो था बड़वे
गाली तो नहीं बोलने वाले थे. एक साथ में 4 गाली बोल दिए भाई.
पैसे का नहीं जब यूज ही नहीं है तो क्यों लेना वैसा
बट तेरे पास ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस क्यों नहीं लेकिन?
ये किसी का ही
ठीक है नहीं मैं वो जो आगे बैठा था ना वैसे
तो राइड कैसे करते हो फिर?
पीछे बैठ के
भाई लेकिन एक चीज मैंने नोटिस किया है बे जब से मैं ड्राइविंग सीखा है ना अब मेरे को पीछे बैठने से थोड़ा सीन होती है मतलब मैं जो कर क्या रहा हूँ पीछे क्यों बैठ रहा हूँ मुझे आगे बैठना है मतलब मुझे चलाना है वो वाला कोई मेरे साथ ऐसा बंदा है मतलब
नहीं।
तुम लोग को ऐसा होता है भाई क्या कर रहा हूँ समझ रहे हो कि मुझे
भाई
चलाना
अभी
है,
अभी
वो वाला
सोच मैं आऊंगा बैंगलोर आऊंगा बोलूंगा टिपो चल गाड़ी निकाल चल किधर जाते हैं समझ रहे तू चला रहा रहेगा मैं मस्त पीछे एसी में बैठ के सो जाऊंगा
अरे लेकिन चलाने का फील अलग है बे तुझे नहीं पता
ये भी
वो स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा नर्वस होता है बहनचोद कोई ठोक दिया तो लेकिन एक बार ग्रिप मिलता है ना
डेमोन के गाड़ी में बैठे थे.
ग्रिप मिलता है ना गाड़ी की
तूने अभी तक गाड़ी एक भी बार नहीं ठोका
ये बहनचोद शुभ शुभ बोल दे आज नहीं जा रहा हूँ मैं गाड़ी में बाहर
क्या बोला मैं सुना नहीं.
एक बार भी नहीं ठोका बोल रहे
बोला आपने आज से एक बार गाड़ी नहीं ठोका.
अरे मादर
इवन भाई
शुभ बोलो
थोड़ा डेंट नहीं आया तेरे गाड़ी में
डेंट एक है रे पता है क्या हुआ मैंने मॉल में पार्किंग किया ठीक है वो क्लोज पार्किंग होता है एक बड़वे ने ऐसे ओपन करके पूरा ऐसा लाइन मारा इट्स नॉट इवन माय मिस्टेक
वो होता है कभी किसी का गाड़ी
मतलब
में, कभी कोई
सिर्फ
बोलता है मेरा
डेंट
गाड़ी का.
निकालने के लिए कितना पैसा छोटे से डेंट
हाँ
10,000
अबे पागल है क्या लौड़ा, अंदर से एक बुक्का बार हो जाएगा ठीक.
और अगर
प्लास्टिक
मान ले
गाड़ी है ना
अगर
मेरी।
अगर मान ले बोनेट उठ गया तो बोनेट
ये गया शुभ शुभ बोलो भोसड़ी बोलो
एक ब्रांड डील का पैसा जाएगा ये।
साइड करते सारे नेगेटिविटीज को
टीमोन भाई आप पहले गाली बोलना बंद करो यार। व्हाट इज दिस बिहेवियर? मैं आपका स्ट्रीम में टीवी पे भी नहीं देख सकता।
टिमोन तेरे सोसाइटी में बच्चे लोग क्रिकेट खेलते हैं? हेलो
टीमोन भाई
यार, सारे बच्चों को मैं सच्ची क्रिकेट खेलो यार बाहर जाके।
टीमोन भाई आपको कभी गेम खेलते हुए कभी लगता है कि हाथ को स्ट्रेचिंग का जरूरत है? आई हैव अ वेरी गुड स्ट्रेच टीच यू।
कैसे करनी है?
झुकना है।
अरे नहीं, हाथ की।
अरे पहले तो लेफ्ट हैंड को राइट साइड शोल्डर को टच करो, फिर राइट हैंड को लेफ्ट साइड शोल्डर पे टच करो, और फिर वापस दोनों एल्बो को टच करो।
इतना बार करेगा मामा।
अरे करने देना, करने वाला था यार।
अरे लौड़े हरामी यार,
करने देता यार, कर लेता हूँ।
मेरे को देख रहे हो
किया
उसको
ऑलमोस्ट,
करते
तभी
हुए।
पता चला कितना बार बोलते हैं ऐसे।
रुको
इसलिए तो थोड़ा बिल्डअप के साथ बोला इस बार।
भाई कैसा है
भाई पता ही
भाई,
नहीं चला
टिमोन
बे।
इंजीनियरिंग कैसे पास हुआ मेरे को सच्ची जानना, सच्ची।
अबे मैं सच्चे से वेलविशर किया बे, वरना मैं नहीं कर।
माँ कसम, सारे लोग टिमोन यूनिवर्सिटी से पढ़ेंगे ना 100%।
भाई कैसा हरामी लोग है बे।
अभी डिस्कॉर्ड पे स्क्रीनशॉट आएगा, बोलेगा मामा भाई टी-शर्ट बनाओ।
सिस्टर भाई, मामा मैं तेरे को
ए,
डेयर
टिमोन!
देता हूँ, एक हॉरर गेम खेल।
तेरे को ड्राइविंग आती है बराबर ना?
अरे तेरे को
बिंक्स
पता है
भाई,
मेरे को
ट्राई कर लो हॉरर गेम्स।
हॉरर गेम में
सच्ची में
मैं
गांड
हॉरर
पड़-
मूवी नहीं देखा आज तक जिंदगी में।
भाई मेरे को हॉरर
भाई।
गेम में मजा नहीं आता भाई।
क्या मजा नहीं आता भाई,
भाई
मैं
एकदम
मेरे को
easy
भी
सा
ऐसा
लगता
लगा,
है,
लेकिन
easy।
कल जो गेम खेला मेरी काफ,
कौन सी गेम थी? कौन सी गेम थी?
ब्रो इट इज बेस्ड ऑन द ट्रू स्टोरी।
इज इट
अबे,
मल्टीप्लेयर?
पहली बात मामबा, ये खुद ने खेला, इसका चैट खेला, इसका चैट
हाँ,
इसको
तो-
बता रहा था, फिर भी भोसड़ी को 30 घंटे का डीले में खेल रहा था ये।
बताओ भाई।
नहीं
इवन मल्टीप्लेयर है तो बताओ, सिंगल प्लेयर ना हो।
मल्टी नहीं, सिंगल प्लेयर भाई। भाई
अबे मैं वो
music
खेलूंगा,
की effect
रेस्टोरेंट
देखोगे?
वाला खेलूंगा मैं वॉच पार्टी के बाद।
कौन सा ये?
मल्टीप्लेयर रेस्टोरेंट वाला।
किसके साथ?
मेरा शादी हो चुका है, जो गेमर है।
मुझे लगा
भाई के भी तो
solo
हो गया रे
खेलोगे।
बाबा।
आपके साथ तो खेल नहीं सकते, आपके पास एक वो है आरपी वाला
क्या?
बंदा एक्सियन, जो घुस जाता है।
एक्सियन सोलो चालू
किसको
किया।
टारगेट कर? रुको रुको रुको।
एक्सियन बोला
जरा
बड़वे।
ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, आज हेल रेंजर कुछ बोलेगा, देखना है। पानी पी रहे हैं, मतलब ये मच्छी होगी।
पेन का एफर्मेशंस पढ़ रहा है ब्रो, कोट्स पढ़ रहा है।
आज हेल रेंजर नहीं है रे, भेज दिया ऋषि सर ने।
Play breach. You have to use the flash stun and then shoot them, you know? Yeah?
You just need to shoot heads.
Yeah. Well, playoffs still a possibility. So, what are we gonna do today, Global Esports?
Do everything we got.
2-0.
Everything we have been practicing. We're gonna
Show
let it
today.
go out. Yep.
Okay. All right. Pour
Let's
your
go
hearts
back
out.
G for the DFM 2-0 baby.
भाई रूस भाई के
I
फोटो को
love
क्या
that
हो
we're
गया?
seeing
It's a
Jen in
pixelated
her,
photo.
an art
That's
of
not
pro
pixelated.
player Jen, right? She's got coaching from Darion, now she's coaching Blaze King before a very crucial match. I mean, how do you think this is gonna go with
हेल
Jen's
रेंजर
coaching?
इसलिए आया होगा वोट
With
करने के
Jen's
लिए।
coaching?
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're gonna improve so much more. Clearly she knows how to make use of agents'
1 किलोमीटर
utilities.
दूर नहीं जाते हैं?
Yeah, clearly.
On the
भाई,
range.
दूर
सूरज किसको डाला वोट मामा?
As
सूरज ने
Throw a
कहा
flash
इलेक्शन
at
हुआ रे
the
बाबा।
box, very
नहीं,
important.
सिर्फ कर्नाटक में हुआ क्या?
अबे नहीं,
Oh,
वो
Esports,
नहीं वाला,
pretty good.
खाली एक ही
I think they've got a pretty
सबने
good chance
नॉमिनेशन
today.
फाइल किया,
Sure, I
नॉमिनेशन
feel
का
like
डेट चले
the
गया, फिर उसके
outcome
बाद
of
2
this
3 दिन
match
रहते हैं
is
फॉर्म वापस
quite
लेने के लिए।
interesting, just because
तो एक
DFM can
candidate के
still
अलावा
play
सबने फॉर्म वापस ले लिया
spoiler
अपना।
to
तो by
GE's
default
hopes and
winner।
dreams, right? It's not likely
कौन
that
by
DFM
default
will
winner?
make playoffs at this point,
BJP का जो
but they
candidate
can
था वो।
opt to sink
कैसे?
another ship.
बाकी
So
सबने
let's call
फॉर्म
DFM,
वापस
let's
ले
send
लिया,
Jen
बोला हमको
over to the
इलेक्शन लड़ना ही
team
नहीं
to
है।
find out how they are feeling
तन्नू!
for this match.
सूरत में?
सूरत में कुछ
सच्ची में?
हाँ बे, तुमने भाई तुम देख क्या रहे हो भाई? सूरत का रिजल्ट ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर हो गया। भाई सूरत में
Hello
अलग
guys,
नशा
now
चल रहा
Global
है।
Esports just said they're gonna give it all they got today and pour their hearts out today. So what are you guys gonna do?
F5 दबाओ रे, F5 F5 F5।
Heartbroken.
सब लोगों ने FP
We're
दबा
gonna make
दी।
them heartbroken today. All right.
भाई DFM क्वालिफाई कर सकते हैं क्या?
Okay, if they didn't expound on
DFM
that,
qualify
I
कर सकता
probably
है?
would have said like, you know, slicing a fruit or something. It kind of looked that
देखना
way.
पड़ेगा।
I don't know. May's heart was a little bit like,
अगर-
yeah.
A bit flat, perhaps.
A little bit. More like a little
Nice.
watermelon.
सूरत की PRX टीम निकले बीजेपी
I mean, this team still
Full
looks
W.
pretty good. I mean, ever since they got that win against T1, they've been very impressive.
नहीं कर
May's
सकता है।
still an incredible player.
भाई सुनो, DFM क्वालिफाई नहीं कर सकती है अभी,
तो दोनों ऐसे ही खेल रहे क्या?
तो क्या जी ऑल चैट पे लिख सकते हैं लेट अस विन प्लीज? क्या बोलते हो
भाई साहब
बराबर
इसको क्या हो? ये क्या है? ये क्या है?
ये वो है बे अपना गोकू
ये क्या है?
I was like, what is that?
It's
It's
Dragon Ball.
बोला ना
gotta
ड्रैगन
stop.
I'm
बॉल।
sorry,
He's
that
gonna-
was before my
You
time,
nasty.
Quack. You have to
Yeah.
explain it to me.
So he's got like the the energy, the power all around him. He's going Super
हाँ, but the
Saiyan.
steering
That's
concept
the
is awesome.
scouter. Yeah, what's his power?
जी डिस कॉन्वर्ट जी हो
Is it
सकती
over
है,
nine
जी हो
thousand?
बाबा,
You know,
गोकू
we
नहीं
gotta
था,
wait and
वेजिटा
find
था।
out.
We're gonna find out, yeah.
अबे सबके पास था ये
Yellow.
वेजिटा वाले।
Lightning, Saiyan stuff around him. That's
Where's the
important,
hair?
right?
ड्रैगन बॉल्स देखो
For Global Esports, they need to win, and then they need to wait for the results
Tribune के
and
पास है ना अभी
see
भी।
if they do make it in, which is
ड्रैगन
it's still
बॉल्स नहीं
possible
है,
that they
बॉल्स
get
छोटा
into
होता है।
playoffs with a 2 wins, 4 losses score, which is kind of incredible.
It is possible. There is a world
You
where
can still qualify,
GE
yes.
does win, but it's so difficult to
क्या हुआ,
have
बाबू?
that, even if you do win this,
because
you
of
are
Kanda.
still waiting. You're waiting for the results of the other teams, and you obviously do not want them to win those matches, which is a tough place to be, right? It's awkward, and you're just sitting and waiting. It's out of your control.
क्या एंट्री मारा बॉलवी ने?
Match counts. That's why this championship point system is so important. Every single match, you want to be competitive in everyone because all your points accumulate.
Tribune
Even
भाई,
if
real
DFM
में जो
doesn't
feel आ रहा है, मैं
necessarily
बोलूं,
make it to the
please.
playoffs, they win this match. It's still something in the books, and they could ruin Global Esports' chances. They could also accumulate enough points to make it through in
गोकू
stage
बस नहीं
2
था, गोकू
as the fourth team
देख
to
सकता था।
champions possibly. But yeah,
Call
that's the
करके बोला
whole
तेरे
thing.
को गोकू ने?
Global
मैं दिखा दूं
Esports
बस, मैं
definitely
बताऊं।
wants to make it to playoffs. They've been improving so much, and you can
ये
see
दिखाना
the
जरूरी
changes
है।
throughout the team, right? Russ was talking about how
यार, आज
they're
पोली
going
भाई
to
को बोलो
communicate
ना यार,
more.
off
Ben
करे
Kai
यार,
now
आज
gives
तो
it more
देखना चाहता
input
हूँ
as
मैं
well. The
गाली
whole
खाने वाला
team
है
is
वहाँ पर।
trying to do
आप
so
जब
much
बोलते हो
more.
all
And
chat
you
में
can
लिखो,
feel
let
it
us win,
across
तो
the entire
point shoot
board.
it.
Blaze King is putting up huge numbers. Polvi is just doing Polvi things, continuing to dive in and such. And you just feel
already
everyone starting
fatigued,
to get more impact. Meanwhile, for DFM, yeah, this is like a really
भाई
nice
बस
looking
इसको रोकना है
step for
बस,
Pentagon right
इसको
now,
अगर
right,
रोक
for
दिया
me.
ना,
What about the rest of the
आधा
team?
काम हो गया।
Exactly.
big.
I love that you brought that up because it seems like, the solution seems to be obvious for GE, right? You shut down May, and that usually knocks back
Analyst
DFM
support
enough
solution
that they
seems
can
simple
afford
for
to,
GE, but
push for
apply क्यों
whatever
नहीं
they
हो रहा
want
फिर?
for the rest of the
अरे
round.
तो मैच तो
But
चालू होने
I'm
दे,
pretty sure
अप्लाई
that
कैसे
DFM
करेंगे
have learned
भोसड़ी
that
के?
May has a target
अबे वो
on his
four losses
back.
नहीं
He
थे।
earned that target when he showed up on like the top ACS board, right? So for DFM, I'm wondering, Valdez, how much they were able to pack in their arsenal for
But
when
एक second.
GE targets
ये जो
their biggest ace, right?
regional
How
leagues
can
का scene
they,
है, Binks?
rally everybody? How can they all be on the
अभी
same
तक ये
board
लोग
for this very
5
important
मैच खेले
match?
करेक्ट
Yeah, it's going to be pretty
बराबर।
difficult. I would
Qualify
say
तो
that
नहीं करने
May,
वाले।
he is a great
कर
player,
सकते हैं।
and even if you do
कर
have a
सकते हैं,
target on your
कर
back,
सकते हैं,
it's
कल
kind of like,
T1
well,
को
he's
हराना पड़ेगा ना
भाई
इसको,
देख,
Zeta को।
ब्लीड अभी PRX से आ रही बराबर।
कल T1 को Zeta को हराना पड़ेगा बस।
T1 को हारना पड़ेगा जेटा से।
बट मैं ये
हारना
जानना
पड़ेगा
चाहता था,
भाई,
अगर नहीं
difficult
करते
है
क्वालिफाई तो खाली 6 मैच खेलने आए थे, ऐसा है क्या कोरिया?
भाई देख सिंपल सी
फिर
बात
अभी
है, आज हार गए तो
स्प्लिट
घर
टू,
पे।
स्प्लिट टू उसके बाद।
हाँ, तो 12 मैचेस।
अबे कैसा
बारह
हेटर है रे बड़वा, इसको हटा।
12
नहीं,
मैच
आज हारे तो घर पे ना।
बाबा।
साले इसको एक मैच का कास्टिंग नहीं मिल रहा है, सामने के 12 मैचेस पे कमेंट कर रहा है भी।
ठीक है भाई, बाकी तो आपने तो गांड फाड़ लिया।
स्प्लिट 2 पे जाएंगे ये लोग। स्प्लिट 1 का खत्म।
पर्सनल हो रहे, बताओ इनको।
पर्सनल हो रहा है तो गर्लफ्रेंड के बारे में बोलता हूँ मैं।
गर्लफ्रेंड हैं जी?
हाँ, जो अपने हर
कैसी
इवेंट
गर्लफ्रेंड
पे
भाई?
हर इवेंट पे उठा है कास्टिंग के बाद।
ए मेरे कमरे में नो लड़की अलाउड एट इवेंट्स।
कमरे में नहीं, लिफ्ट में तो थी। हाँ,
आप कृपया ना बोलियो।
हाँ?
सबसे बड़ा प्ले बॉय है सूरत की।
हाँ भाई,
लेके जाओ रे।
टिंडर बिम्बर देखो, बम्बल क्या है वो, सब में इसका प्रोफाइल
अभी अनइंस्टॉल
बूस्टेड
कर
है।
दिया, अभी अनइंस्टॉल कर।
एक सेकंड टिबोन भाई, आपके लिए एक
अभी।
क्वेश्चन है।
बोलो
हम
भैया
जितनी भी इवेंट में गए हैं, मैंने और आपने कमरा शेयर किया बराबर है।
बराबर
ये अकेला कैसे रहता था कमरा में?
भाई होस्ट है भाई हेलो
समझ रहे हो?
Privileges,
Gotta watch the
right?
coin too.
रुको मैं
Oh, it's tails. Tails this time.
I feel as though both teams will kind of go for
भाई
more
यहाँ पे 3v2 कर रहे हो लोग?
You know, because
Play it
that's-
safe.
Yeah, play it safe.
देखो अब
Give it your
देखते
best
हैं
shot.
Icebox
Global has, you know,
तीन लोग क्यों आए बीच में? मुझे तो ये
repeatedly
समझ में नहीं आ
banned
रहा है।
mine. So
एक फोन
yeah, that's
पकड़ने के लिए
probably
बंदा
what it's
है।
gonna be. And their
नहीं,
best
एक,
bet has been Icebox so
एक-
far. So I feel
कोच
like they
एक
probably
एनालिस्ट
don't wanna
ये
go.
असिस्टेंट
Icebox
कोच।
बैन कर दिया
That,
अभी DFM
you know,
ने
makes you think about what the map pick is going to be.
भाई, थोड़ा
So I don't know.
sunset
You
हो
know,
चाहता
you got to think
हूँ।
about like.
भाई
I
जी ने
wouldn't want to
स्प्लिट
play
लिया है?
Sunset against DFM because they look pretty good on that too. Split is interesting.
Split comes out, and it's not a map that these teams. I think DFM like selected it once, and GE hasn't at all. So they picked it here.
मैं अपने
Actually,
कोच को बोलना
And then
पड़ेगा
Lotus
सामने
gets
वालों को
picked
घूर
up,
के
obviously
देखे।
very
आधा तो
popular
वो लोग की
map, and that's
मोटिवेशन
gonna
वहाँ
be
पे
the
डाउन
choice
होगी।
for DFM.
I feel like DFM are well rehearsed, so to say, on both Split and Lotus, right? This has been, I mean, like they took away GE's home court, which has been Ice
यो
Box.
सनसेट बन
But
गया?
for like the maps, I would say this slightly favors DFM. But I mean, you know, I believe that Spin has
एसेंट
mentioned
बैन
that like
करेंगे ये लोग।
GE is one of those teams that they're
Ascent
a
ban
bit
करने वाले
on the
लोग,
outskirts
Ascent
because they
ban करने
don't
वाले।
really rely too much on the picks and bans. I believe this was mentioned in one of the coach interviews, the content that we have on the VCT Pacific channel, just because they
बोला था
anticipate
ना।
already not getting the map picks and bans in their favor.
Right, they just kind of play their game. Ascent is the decider, so another classic matchup. But
Attack, attack.
Split makes sense because every time that DFM has picked Split, you know, once or twice against some of the teams like Gen G and Clean last week, for example, they haven't had the best times. They often lose on that map, even if they pick it. So there is a chance that Global Esports, you know, Coach Spin, big time, they've studied whatever DFM setups are, and if they can take Split and Lotus goes their way as well, then you know,
भाई ये क्यों
very
दिखा
much
रहे हैं
so be a
लोग?
Global Esports game.
अब कुछ दिखाने के लिए
This
है
is
नहीं
kind
लेकिन
of showing off what
तू
you were
गया
talking
रे,
about. Their
तू
attacking
गया
side
रे
for DFM
भिक्षु।
is
अरे
pretty
भाई,
decent,
खेले
but the
नहीं है
defending
बोल रहा हूँ
side
मैं।
is
हाँ, बात
4
तो है,
and
बात तो है।
17 on
भाई,
Split.
हीटर
So
तो Binks से
something
रे
is
भाई।
going
कुछ भी
wrong
बोलो, फिर भी
there,
गाफ
and I
मारना
think
है।
GE
अरे मेरे को
have
समझा नहीं क्या वे में
identified
बोला था।
that there might be a nice little angle here on this map. So I think a good choice. I do agree with you. Lotus is going to be interesting. I think that was, you know, second ban multiple times by GE, and DFM say, well, you know, they probably don't really like that map too much, so we'll take that one out.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, we haven't seen GE on
मामा से
Split in
पूछो
a
सूरत में कहाँ से
while,
घर
so
पता क्या
this
होगा
gives
उसके?
them a little bit more time, right? Especially since you
जी
do have
qualify
players
हो
on the
गए तो
side of GE
stream पे
that
talk करोगे?
do exceptionally
Just
well
saying.
on Split. They are very
जी
comfortable
से
there.
मैं नहीं।
I do remember it was in kickoff, but Benkai had quite a map on
जी
Split, but
भाई
they were able
लोटस
to
क्यों लिए
bring
भाई?
that out. So
क्योंकि ban था
this
इस
could
box?
still very well favor GE.
It could. It's also a little bit risky,
कैसा है
but
हमारा?
you know, if I were a betting guy, I would put my odds on the GE.
अभी
Because
पता
the thing
चलेगा,
is,
कौन सा 20 मिनट
just
में।
looking at these
Betting मत
players,
करो।
looking at how they perform, how they feel even,
या तो
they're
आर या तो
just on
पार या
another
तो
level. Blaze King is someone who's always capable of, you know, getting some crazy timing peaks. He peaks against you at the weirdest times and weirdest moments. He knows exactly when to go for it. And
Yep.
that's going to be tough for DFM. Meanwhile, on the other side, you know, when you got the whole team working together, Polvi entering, Russ making the call, setting up for the whole
Golu race
team,
खेलेगा क्या?
Benkai being sneaky,
खेलना चाहिए,
and even
मजा आ जाएगा।
lightning
गोलू
fast,
सैच
who,
लेंगे।
you know, sometimes a little bit quiet, but if you
क्या होएगा
watch his
कुछ नहीं
gameplay,
पता।
his mechanics are actually insanely
भाई
sharp.
टट्टी आ रही है
So
यार।
as a whole, Global Esports look
बंस
incredible.
बचाओ ना यार।
पट
Well,
से
you
कर क्या
mentioned you
पट से
weren't
कर
gonna
क्या
अरे
ban
मतलब
This is
वैसा
the
नहीं
second
वैसा नहीं
difference
मतलब
to bring out.
प्रेशर आ रहा है
You still
प्रेशर
do
आ रहा है
have to,
वैसा
you know,
भाई,
take your
love you
bets in that
guys.
sort of sense, and it looks as though you only have
लव
one
यू
on
लव यू
them
गाइस
now.
ने डीएफएम को लव यू बोलो
all
लव
people.
यू
Of all people, of all people.
फॉलोअर्स
people.
मांगने
Do you
का
have anything
तरीका
to say
थोड़ा
about
कैजुअल
this?
है।
Maybe he saw the D and he thought it was DRX, and he was like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
मतलब
I
DFM
gotta
Yeah.
vote for my
It
team,
was like
right?
it was
Say,
like
दो
maybe
तीन ऐसे
like
डेज
how
हैं
you
जैसे
had
टीम
Trevor
आएगा
was
मजा
like kind of shaded. It's like,
little
oh,
bit
here it
more,
is.
some like blue and white.
इधर बंदे हो
right?
चाहे
Like,
तुम लोग
no, I don't really get it. Maybe he's saying, you know, what you were saying before about like a little bit, a lot less pressure on DFM, a ton of pressure on GE to win, and he's like, man, this is going to be an upset. There have been a lot of upsets so far. I don't know why I'm arguing for Achilles' spread when I didn't spread DFM, but I can see the angle.
जी
But I wouldn't
qualifying
do
का
it.
सीन क्या है? पहले
enough
ये
of
मैच
that.
समझो
Enough of what's going on in Achilles' brain. We do have our second series of the day. So let's head on over to the stage for GE and DFM.
अरे आ रहे
अभी बजेगी गाना.
Global Esports.
भाई किधर गया? पैसिफिक सॉन्ग किधर है?
Detonation Focus Me.
मैच इंटेंस से इसलिए नहीं बजा रहे क्या?
Who is
यार,
going to get
serious
their
दिख रहे
final
यार.
W for that
उन्हें तो
regular
serious लग रहा है.
season? Is it going to be DFM
Serious
or
last
is
time
GE going to be able to
vibe
hang on to
feel हो रहा
that
था.
prey
अभी
off
serious लग रहा है.
stream? We mentioned that, you know, this could favor GE, but DFM, I mean, they've captured the hearts of everybody with one of the biggest moments, I would say,
most
in
reasonable
VCT Pacific. I mean,
number
everybody
मिल
knows the
जाता है.
feeling of just trying and never making it. Suddenly you do, and that's how DFM was able to get the crown.
I know, and what a triumphant win that was. They could do it again. I mean, we just need to wait to see those improvements. And it could happen here because they are playing on a map that they're pretty comfortable with. We've seen May. It's time for us to see Cess, Neff, Medusa, even Anthem to come back into the fray.
क्या लगता है?
Yeah, they really need to. We have seen
भाई
bursts
क्या
of
है
brilliance
ये?
from the side of DFM. They
Hello?
just need to replicate that here
तू
tonight.
देखा
Whereas on
नहीं
the side of
DFM के
GE, they've
पीछे?
been a bit up and down. You
वो
know, they
देख.
wins so far, but definitely feels like as a
अबे.
team you were talking about it before,
वो
Black, everything's
sponsors.
kind of slowly coming together.
ये देख.
भाई
I
बहुत
think,
पुराना
you know,
है.
unlike Lead, who's going up against two Titans, I think GE, a relatively favorable matchup for them
15 है,
right at the
15.
end of the split to potentially make
वो टीम
playoffs.
अच्छा है बे.
See laser focus
game
eyes
में
on
अच्छा है वो,
Colby right
dominating.
now. He's looking
भाई
like he's
बहुत
ready
पुराना भी
to
है.
just
मैं जब
entry. So
actively
we're gonna
खेला था
see
तब का भाई ये
if
लोग
it is
पक्का
indeed
खेलते
GE
हैं.
that takes this, or if it's going over to DFM with a second victory.
बड़ा और
Over to
नीचे
your
वो.
casters, William and
350
Azurai.
sponsors.
स्टोरी है मतलब in terms of money कितना बड़ा है वो नहीं पता but हिस्ट्री बहुत बड़ा है.
लेकिन सारे स्पॉन्सर्स वैसे नहीं रहते
Thank
हैं.
you very
पैसा वाला नहीं
much.
रहता.
We are back here for our
Azurai
second matchup
bolte.
tonight. William here, joined by Azurai. And the first one, a little bit of a quick series, but I gotta imagine this one's very likely to go 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. All right, I was about to say.
Oh, really?
Go the distance. It will go that distance.
Oh,
we
but you
have
think-
the same
okay,
prediction,
okay.
so we're not.
Okay,
not,
but
yeah.
okay, but you're thinking like a tough 2-0.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
GE.
For GE.
He has spoken. I just wanted that confirmation. I
Chalo.
just wanted to be safe on my pred.
Let's go.
Word is not law. Please
Let's go.
do
दोस्त
not,
है आपके साइड पे.
That's what they all say. That's what they all
do
say.
not believe that at all. But
So far, the stats
yeah.
speak in your favor, though.
I just got lucky. But what I will say
मेरे
though
जैसा prediction
is
देता है आसुरे.
Global Esports
सच्ची बोल रहा हूँ.
performance definitely not tied to luck at all.
No,
They
no, no,
have
उसने बोला
been
ठीक है.
getting better and better each and every week that we have played. We're in the fourth week right
वाइपर
now,
ओमेन
and
ठीक है,
you see
स्काई
that
ठीक है.
marginal
भाई कॉम
boost
के
that
वजह
we
से
have
ठीक
seen
है.
for them,
चलो.
right? We've seen how big the
Let's go,
impact
baby.
of, I think the back line has been with
Problem
Blaze
अभी
defense
होएगी
high. Russ
शायद
has
May
been
versus
really
Polvi
picking
में.
up so many of these agents and performing well on it, which also allows Polvi to do whatever, to become that star duelist that Global have been wanting. And then Lightning Fast, he's just been the overall
मेरे
solid
कम.
support that has been just waiting
वो
for
है
his
ही नहीं
team to
duelist team
pick
का तो
up
क्यों
and start
खेलेगा वो?
moving alongside it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lightning Fast by far the brightest star so far out
यहाँ
of
पे
this
नहीं
season
हो रही
of
है
GE,
match.
but Russ right up there with him as that fragging
बढ़िया.
IGL, see if he can lead the team once
बोलो
again
अच्छा खेलता है भाई.
in his own play. Now we did see a bit of that comp change coming out from kickoff. Back at kickoff, GE, they are completely Gecko pilled, Gecko everywhere. Going with single controller on a lot of these maps.
क्या लगता है
But
Jad?
now they have returned to the Omen Vipers,
चलो
so we will be
भाई
seeing that mirror
भाई अच्छी
composition.
गेम होगी.
Russ
देखो पहला राउंड
on
आउटलॉ
that
नहीं दिख रहा है
sky
मेरे
as
को.
a single
जीत गए
initiator.
मेरे हिसाब
There's a
से.
lot of problems that we saw on the flip side though for DFM when they tried to, play on that on these split maps, especially against Gen G. Just not a lot of impact that May could have done. And the panel said this already, right?
क्या को लेना था? नहीं
They
नहीं ये
have to
बराबर है.
all come together, and obviously,
2
team
to
game
1
and
भी
all that.
बराबर है. अब तक
Yeah,
सब
especially
बराबर है.
against a match against GE,
अब तक सब
it's
बराबर
going
है.
to be so crucial.
Yeah, and what's interesting, from the stats that we saw as well is that I would generally rate that DFM's attacks have always been the problem, but And when it comes here, it's the defense that they've really struggled with, and part of it has to be the way that splits played out. The way you have to make rotations is a little bit different for some of these other maps. For now, Medusa just going to be tasked with holding on to mid all on his own. Cess is there for a bit of a trap play with the paranoia should they need it.
Double smoke as well, though, so they're trying to save the Viper smoke for that next little bit of contact. Cess already gets a pick onto Polby. Medusa comes out. Fangs and all. Gets assistance from Cess right there. Paranoia used by Lightning Fast just to reclaim that spike and try to reposition while the rest of GE already marching up here on A Heaven.
Yeah, this did force Anthem to have to back off, right? So you've already given up A Heaven. You've basically given up control of A site. Of course, that doesn't mean it's free for GE just yet, but we'll see how DFM deal with this.
Yo, Richard, let's gang.
GE, they're scared of it. The paranoia could be good. They picks up one. Benkai. Paranoia fades away just in time.
Yeah, now Lightning Fast comes in to assist. Also brings in the payload. Only know where Benkai is in, so if they pushing a little bit too far in, Lightning Fast might be able to explode, but goes in a bit too forward. Could have waited for his teammate. That drops the spike and drops the round for Global. DFM pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it so much from GE, right? It's a 2v3. You already gave up your position, so if you just go for the plan, Benkai's left all alone, so it would have been a much tougher round. So you're trying to dwindle the numbers, and you're trying to make them think that you're already all on site, right? Benkai, there's no way to regroup. So Lightning Fast thinks he might be able to find a cheeky little timing around the box. But Cess is wise to it, gets a triple kill in that round. It's a good pickup from DFM. So while Medusa, maybe peeked out a little bit early while Cess was going back into B site, at the end of the day, DFM, they work well around the early kills in mid.
That smoke to separate. They're just going
Just a full send.
Yeah, let's drop on Ramen, so that's going to be that.
एक बात तो ये लोग की क्लासिक अलग चलती है.
He's doing some damage. All right, he's doing some
Next round
damage
DFM
on
जीतेगा
mid.
मेरे हिसाब
Could
से.
pick up the
Clean
rifle
वो
right
भी
now.
clean, flawless जीतेगा DFM. Flawless.
He's afraid that B main could be pushed by DFM.
Try करते हैं,
You
क्या
can
बोलते हो?
see with how he's been moving around as he's about to peek on Garage.
Yeah, good pickup on the orb as well for DFM. Whenever you have these early leads, you want to make sure you snowball it. And the Guiding Light, I mean, all of this, DFM playing a lot safer, making sure that they have the tools to snowball as far as possible. Still 3 weapons in hand, high-low set up right around the corner, and he'll land a smidge of damage, but he will get the pick up with Guardian.
Yeah.
मेरे हिसाब से
Wanting to chase for
ये
that pick or
DFM
any kind of
जीतेगी ये
contact
round.
on Garage, as we saw that smoke, that separation. Cess was so prepared for that, even just boosted right on top with the help of Anthem. So kind of just see how prepared DFM coming into this game has been. Just considering it's been 2 rounds.
Well, yeah, I mean, so far looking good. Cess kind of liking the mood, as he often seems to be doing for this team. Obviously out of playoff contention, but the Death touched upon it. You can still get those championship points. Make it matter for Stage 2. And Stage 2, the playoffs are determined by the overall year record as well. So these are all going to stack up towards the later part of the year.
That's where you're seeing, again, DFM just try to be, right? In any case, Benkai alone. Has an angle. He just peeked that like 2 seconds earlier. Could have got a catch onto Cess. Now in a 2 versus 1 possibly. While the rest of Global now starting to move right in. They've used the bot and everything. But they are just going to have to back away first. Benkai's getting a bit of that contact, and he's calling the rest of his team back up to go for that aggressive push now that he knows that it is going to be, the Sky and the Omen, I think, that he might have spotted here on A.
Oh, but this is a good rotation from DFM, right? Because you already saw one of the Cyber Cages ute, so Benkai can't really lurk as really anymore solo. You still have your own Cypher set up defensively on B. You made sure you held on to mid, so the early rotate comes over to A. This is the most probable spot of attack, and they will be correct, but Polby gets a timing peek right around onto Cess.
Yeah, that was also Cess wanting to throw out the Paranoia, not in time. Medusa, though, comes out from the swing. Been really good playing off of his own wall. The flash stops GE dead in their tracks on A main. They try to go for the counter flash as well, going super aggressive.
Nice,
they
not
actually
nice.
somehow managed to pick up
DFM
Medusa, and still the back of the site, using the Guardian. Not going to be happening.
Not nice, not
Lightning
nice.
Fast making a bit of noise, so Neth knows, has to be aware of the 180. Did they hear the weapon switch for Neth as he drops into the site?
Surely they heard the drop at the very least.
On the peak.
Nice.
Around the corner, it's going to be the first contact, and
Shit,
Russ
yaar,
denies.
shit.
That's going to be a first point for Global.
क्यों भाई नहीं जीतने देना था
Yeah,
क्या?
huge kind of recovery here from GE because Medusa, what a timing to peek out from that toxic screen. Able to get the big picks. But GE, I mean, they go for a very ballsy play here. They go for a
ये
double
राउंड
peek out of
DFM
the
जीतेगा मेरे हिसाब
defender's
से
toxic
मेडुसा
screen,
भाई
right? So they
दो
attempt the
मारेंगे
decay, but they're
दो
still trusting in the numbers to break into sight eventually.
समझ रहे हो
That's what saves him into this round. Blaze King sharp with it. Yep, that's the double peek I was talking
Let's
about.
go.
And then able to skirt around
ये
the
राउंड
Guardian at
कैसे
the
जीते
very end
पता
as
नहीं
well. So they'll stabilize, 3 weapons saved over
But
from
ये
that
round अभी
buy,
DFM
and now it's
जीतेगी
an evenly matched round.
हाँ
That it is. Again, GE's been putting a lot of pressure on mid right
मार
now
मेडुसा
to
तेरा राउंड
maybe
है दो
bait
मार
out a couple of smokes from Cess. If they can do that, GA I think are pretty happy with it. If not, they're going to commit a bit more of their resources coming in onto this mid play. As you can see, exhausted are the smokes of DFM. Benkai, because of it as well, somehow managed to sneak through. And of course, that's going to be a follow-up on the neural theft, only on an A site, and that means that GE only have to deal with Neth and his traps.
कोई ना अभी सीज बाय टॉप पर अगर
They
सीज बाय
know that
मारेंगे
May made it all the way
Seize by मारेंगे
across.
मेरे
Got
हिसाब
that
से
last ping before the blast packs. Now you've got Anthem on the way as well. May's already on elbow. Didn't
ये
quite
out of
expect
syllabus
that
का
angle.
असर है
May's quick with it.
नाइस शॉट यार मैं नाइस शॉट
But look at the map, right? You still have Blaze King over by
मैं
Heaven.
ulti
He's
मार
already
दे
taking control. So GE will slowly back out. Even if they're making noise, they're starting to go through. They already have control of Heaven. It's the wraparound from Blaze King. Says, how many can he get here?
Let's go Sis
They're
let's
just
go
going away from his line of sight. Somehow managed to still pick up the kill onto
Come on
Colby.
एक और
Paranoid's good.
एक और Sis
Give him a bit of space
easy
to
है
just back away.
seconds.
And yeah, they know exactly where he just fell back. 20 seconds, they'll be able to plant the spike. Dust settles, and that's going to be May and Anthem. A bit too out of position here, so they're going to have to
भाई
regroup as they try
एंथम
to
की
go for
पोजी
this
अच्छी
retake.
लग रही है
You do
ब्रो
have a paint shell. You do have a guiding light. Boombot as well. Though we'll see if that's used maybe just to clear hell right under. Anthem gets spotted.
भाई ये बहुत
They
टफ है जो मैं
wait
कर
to
रहा
see if
हूँ
there's an extra
ये
lurk.
जॉब का अलग
They
पैसा
know that
चाहिए
they're down in numbers. They know that Lightning Fast been on that lurk a little bit.
भाई ये जॉब टफ है यार
Creeping right in.
शॉट ट्रिपिंग
लीड अच्छा
They
है
got
वो
the
बंदा
trifecta, man. Their Bermuda Triangle.
गोलू भाई
नहीं,
गरीब
नहीं,
से
Get
नहीं,
incited.
आपको पता है
You disappear, you
गोलू भाई
vanish.
स्मोक
May.
देते हैं
ऐसे करो भाई टफ है मेरा
बोलो भाई,
समझ
बोलो
रहे हो
भाई।
ऐसा हो रहा है
Fast is repositioned onto B main, maybe
बोलो क्या देख रहा था
goes
बीमेन
undetected
के
just for
अंदर
the
ही
one
रहता
kill
है,
though.
guarantee करना था
That's gonna be
यार
another one
कैसे
for
हारे यार
GE.
डीएफएम ये राउंड
So GE, they'll start to climb
ये तो
forward
कंफर्म डीएफएम
on
का
the
है भाई देखो
economy here
मेरे
on
के
the
पास
board.
अल्ट है
Able to
Omen ult
try
है
to see if
मेरे
the
साथ
snowball
भी
comes through. A good
चालू
lurk
होता है,
in
मेरे को
from
ऐसा उबासी आने
Benkai.
लगती है
क्या बोलते हो
Pick up on side as well. This is a Benkai round through and through.
ज़्यादा
But
खाए तो
overall,
फिर बहुत
Benkai and Blaze King, and they'll be crucial, right? Whenever you play for these double controllers, whenever you have that cipher, it's about the lurks. How much can you pressure them? How much can you make that midweek
को
and then
अभी
go
ult
in for the
मारनी
deep
चाहिए
lurk? This
base
time,
में।
Benkai and Blaze King
Space create
perfectly
करने के
timed
लिए।
off of
तो
each other.
जीत सकता है
Yeah, so the
DFM
question now is, how does DFM actually answer that rather than just holding passively against Benkai, right? Because he throws out the smokes and everything, he gets that forward control onto ramps, and then after that, DFM just don't really know how to hold on to A Heaven, or should they hold on to A Heaven? Maybe is the question.
And this time, at the very least, they'll push out a B main. They'll
भाई
even
इसका
put that
स्टिंगर
forward
अच्छा
smoke
चलता
as
है
well. So B
मजा
main
सकता है
completely under their control, but it is an eco.
मेडुसा का
2 stingers, though, on that side. So any close quarters combat, GE is in for a rude awakening.
जरूरत
Are
है
aware
जरूरत
of
है
it though. With how much, again, smoke
Medusa का
commitment
stinger
DFM
अच्छा
have been
लगता
putting on mid, GE's been
भाई
pretty
सीज
aware
का यहाँ पे
of,
वन टैप
like,
देखना ठीक है
these
सीज का वन
possible
टैप
traps
देखना
that could be set up, especially what we saw again during those couple of 2 starting rounds with DFM. Anyways, here comes the push. GE sees a bit of that contact. Now, okay, they're backing away again.
उसका
Yeah, but
टांग
they
नहीं दिख रहा
with Benkai.
Yeah, so they re-clear B main, right? And I would say maybe in the grand scheme of things, it could have been like 5 or 10 seconds earlier, but at the end of the day, they re-clear that. They force him into B, and then you've already got the lurk. However, DFM has a read on this. They realize it's not a fast chase off of Cess. Cess already backed off. There's no reaction to it, so it's a fast rotate over to A.
No traps as well, but a couple of them. Fly swatter for now, not going to happen this time. They've already cleaned up house. Benkai could be in trouble right now, but somehow manages to pick it up with a Spectre, leaving only Cess. He was actually wallbanged by Blazy as he was exiting on B main, so that's why he's just down to like 9. Exit frags is the best way to go. I don't think he's going to be able to do any more than just that, especially with the weapon that he has on hand.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with the Sheriff, with your ult already online, you're the Omen. Might as well just try to die to the spike.
God,
The question
bhai,
is does
bhai, बहुत
GE
tough
let
काम
that
कर रहा हो यार,
happen? Russ and
concentrate
Povey
करने
both
दो.
only 1 point away from their ults. Povey's on the hunt. He's got that Spectre. He doesn't mind losing it, but they will not be guessing correctly tonight.
Unless Seth pushes up and then maybe that camera from Benkai, right? But as you mentioned, he's going to be pretty aware not to give up any kills. So
Povey's
that
coming.
No ultimate.
He's coming! Ah, okay.
One tap अच्छा था
All right, it's
वैसे.
going to be Seekers online. I mean, hey, G will take it. You get one of the two big ults online. Let's still go for another orb here on the attacking side.
ठीक है यहाँ पे सब कुछ ठीक है.
So now with GE,
गोदी में बैठ के
you know,
मारा
even
है.
with
ये
the
round
correct
मेरे
reads here
हिसाब
from
से
DFM,
close
right? The
जाएगा,
early rotate,
लेकिन
obviously, it's
DFM
Pico
ये
round,
वाला
so
round
it's a bit tough. Don't hit get that flying headshot.
तेरे को क्या लगता है?
DFM, I mean, they played that round correctly. I would love to see them do something similar again, right? Try to take the hard B main control, do something.
लोग
If it's
chip
not
पे
that,
इतना, hello.
use the sky to push that Cypher out of comfort zone on A.
सपोर्ट कर रहा है.
They go
Silent
right
support.
back to just holding safe defaults. And this could
भाई
bite them.
गलत साइड पे जा रहे, गलत
They
साइड
also
पे जा रहे.
broke the tripwire for Death
boy.
initially. May, what a shot!
Oh! Tried to activate his ult, it looked like.
भाई
Yeah.
नेट का एंगल बाप है.
Sure, that's gonna get
Bhai.
canceled. What a shot from them
Buddy.
there. Nice little tap on the
140 वाला
premium
scene
of
है.
lightning
तू
fast.
भी DFM की साइड है
Sway
क्या?
G from pushing
बोल.
forward or you know,
Bhai,
just
मैं
wait for
G fighting
Russ
भाई.
मैं
to-
गलत साइड में
Yeah,
क्यों
just
जा रहे
pop
बोला
off lightning
यार, मैं
fast and
सच्ची
hit
मेरा
B as well as they're kind of
कैसा वो
almost
ब्रेन
active for the
सेल्स
moment.
काम नहीं कर रहा है मेरा.
Yeah, during all of this, you already have A entirely cleared. Anthem pushes out
नहीं
after
बोलने
the
लगा
vertical
मैं.
onto Benkai. So this is great information for DFM. You've got Heaven Control, Snake Bite on top of that Cyber Cage, another Omen Smoke to fill it as well. I mean, GE just has no way of getting in. It's going to be the Shroud Step for Lightning Bolt, so Euro play.
The Paranoia is gonna hit. The exiting now.
Dodge किया देखा.
Medusa does not, so he's going to be holding on top side.
तुम्हारा
Get that
उसने
nice
बैटरी
little
खत्म.
vantage
अगले
point.
round नहीं जाता.
With the help of Sess, that's going to be a clapback here for DFM. Great
पलटना नहीं,
contacts
नहीं.
all throughout.
Yeah, so while
सिर्फ
they didn't
round win
push it
बोलेंगे
into
मेरे
B main
हिसाब
and
से.
take control,
वरना
they
मैं ना
did have
फपल
a bit of
जाता
a
हूँ.
curveball
अचानक से
with
G
May,
की
right?
तरफ
He was
चला
holding
जाता हूँ.
close right aside from that toxic screen. Usually the Cypher is going to be holding further back.
Yeah.
So at least it's a bit of a difference, and then they eventually push out of A main. So to me, that tells me that DFM
चल भाई,
understands the
ये तो
weakness that they've
DFM
had in the
जीत गया
previous
भाई.
rounds. But they got away with it this round. Do they think that's going to be enough? We'll have to keep an eye. As right now, they're going to fall far back. They know that you have extra ultimates on the side of GE. You've got that
एक
showstopper.
किल
You
में
want to
मर
avoid
पाएगा
it.
पोल भी.
Yeah, especially, again, having the Seekers with Russ.
But
Especially how
yaar.
far back that
Yeah.
can catch you. Doesn't
And
matter at
जो
all.
बैटरी खत्म क्या?
Just picks up lightning fast from the get-go. Popping shots through the wall as well. That might disrupt the offense that GE are kind of hoping for, but not this time as Polby actually rips out that showstopper, hits nothing onto Heaven. Sees the battle away from Sess, and he's not going to be able to escape. No help
एक और
from May
नहीं मार
whatsoever.
पाएंगे. पोल भी का हो
Makes
गया.
time to shine.
एक मार
Is
दिया
here,
बस.
is down.
मार रहे
Picks up the
हैं.
2K.
भाई बैटरी खत्म
That's
क्या?
gonna leave GE out of the sight. Only stuck here on A main.
Yeah, and the Spike's stranded as well. May now holding close to Trailblazer to make sure that there's no wraparound from Heaven. Anthem's on
भाई
site, but
बैटरी
they're
खत्म
not
हो
quite
गया लग
looking
रहा
at
है.
the same angle. They will wait until the wraparound arrives from DFM. Overall, a pretty safe
बैटरी
position
गया.
for DFM. The only thing you'd be worried about is a jolly journey through mid.
बैटरी
And
खत्म
Death
मतलब
might get
समझ रहे हो
taken
अभी
out, but at the
वैसा.
end of the day, the Spike would still be
Next
stranded
round G
over on the
जीतेगा.
A side.
भाई सिंपल बात है भाई. पावर्स का वो
Play this
करेक्ट
as
यूज
slow as
करना
they
पड़ेगा.
can. Burn that timer in. May spots out two.